Yeah, he said I'm a join to Ghosty to the women's to get money into the store that will go take it from there. I said, my man, only bad for the same leisure.
Then how can the police catch you now?
The police before the man call me back. Now on the 18th, they more.
The same man now.
Yeah, the same man.
The same man who want for you to Ghosty.
Yeah, he called me on the 18th.
Yeah.
Now in the now about 8:30, the man called me. He said, "Oh, my man, I election been there. I'll call you back again."
So that time you go to work?
I go to work.
You leave for your working place, you come to the man.
Yeah, I'm from to my working area to Clarence to now go to the man.
To Ghosty now.
No, I'm not Ghosty. I go to yeah. How you question me? The thing you want for me to explain for you to understand. Then still questioning me, doubling the question. How many talk clear now?
Okay, let's go now. I beg you, sorry.
I see.
When they call you in the now.
When the man call me in the
yeah.
He asked me, say, how many of you are working to the area? I say, we are 3.
You told the message you're 3.
Yeah. So he said, I want to give you tea to carry to
the message. You want to give you what tea?
Tea. Have milk tea.
Oh, milk tea.
Yeah.
For you to drink
with bread.
The bread.
3 pieces of full bread.
The egg is that.
The egg into my butter. So when I carry it to the man, say carry it to the man. When you give it to the man, then you come back to the car.
So the food make you now carry that so you can go convince your friend now.
Yeah. When I give it to the man, the man say thank you. I say okay. The man say, oh, where you going now? I say, oh, I'm going right car. So one of my friend call me.
And the same man going to now.
Yeah, the same man.
And the man say one for you to go steal.
No, yeah. So when I go to the man, he say clean the car. Then there are 2 now.
In the Jeep.
Then there are 2.
A big Jeep.
Yeah. Black BG, photo G. Yeah. So when I clean the car now,
air condition all is that?
No. Papa, you can't wait for me to spin now. I'll leave the water now. You can judge people.
I just asking you a question, sorry.
You can judge people that can come here.
No, I'm a journalist. I beg you, sorry.
The way you talk in the question, do I say when I move from here I'll free? Do I say when I move from here I'll free? You said one talk again. I wanted to mean who talk clear to you, but you talk in the question. Hi, looking, then you want force and no more word there again. Why not be looking to the talk? I'm not going to talk again. And said they call me to the office of OSP.
I think you explain to me that you come to get fair. You say you carry tea to the man. After you carry tea to the man, you come now. So what next now?
And for me, I'll not fair.
Nobody, you getting fair. You say asking you too much question. Hey, there's people say make your egg and bread. You bring it. Okay, sorry. Now I say sorry now. Okay, sorry.
If you
I will not ask you the question again. Okay, sorry.
When I give you answer now, then do.
Okay. Explain again. I'm not asking no more question again. Okay, let's go now.
Go to school. The English say I need the English.
Okay, sorry. I say sorry now. Sorry.
See, Ali, you take time. You take time.
I'm taking time. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Say I can take time
to explain. Okay.
You said rest your brought dirty rest in the country. Your course on door.
I asked somebody rest yesterday. Not a dirty rest.
But what you say? You say the people in the plaza rest. You say that you pull it do now. So I don't expect you to say anything otherwise.
When I hear somebody telling me that Gifty was making love to Peters in the car, only Jesus can tell me that I will accept. Only Jesus. No CID, NSA, FBI report will make me to accept it. No kind of a report will make me to agree that Gifty Lama was in the car on Broad Street having sex. Whereas when we went there, I was there when police opened that vehicle. We noticed that there was sand in her shoes. So the Broad Street play got sand now. Broad Street got sand. What part of Broad Street is sand coming from? I refuse to accept that. Anybody wants to get angry with me, let them get angry with me. I refuse it any day, anytime. Gifty Lama never died on Broad Street. She died somewhere else. They were brought on Broad Street. I say so. I, Solomon Claudius George.
Musa Belete stole 180,000 in tax money from the Liberian government, for which he was dragged to court. 2012, he was announced convicted. This is the man also condemned by FIFA as a fraudster. This is the man who is in the midst of the CPP, and the CPP is now throwing what I call a cordon sanitaire around him. Now, if you have a guy who is a potential contaminant and you have it in your midst, what do you think will happen? He will contaminate everybody. You know, this man is a walking corruption virus. Anything he comes in contact with, anything he touches, he contaminates. The CPB will be contaminated very soon. Because my own Liberty Party is now contaminated. People in the Liberty Party who took Peacock Trust for ability today, they are defending him up and down the country.
The People's Liberation Party, through the National Executive Committee and the GSC, have with immediate effect suspended for time indefinite and to face the grievance and active committee for investigation for their respective actions. Those suspended and removed are Mr. Jerry K. Coney, former chairman, Bon County, suspended. Mr. Mohammed A. Billity, former chairman, Margibi County, suspended. Mr. J. Emmanuel Green, former chairman, Grand Cape County, suspended. Mr. Oscar Holmes, former chairman, Bomi County, suspended. Mrs. Evelyn Yakoli Morris, former chair, Nimba County, suspended. Mr. Abraham Sharif, former chair, Monserrate County, removed.
The matter will be settled. Tapo Ido now politicians, DJ Blue now politicians. So I am not suspended about the body of our constitution. Anybody that is suspended, go to court. They are first county chairperson. Conventions held in Royal Margibi County. I was the head of the delegate, and the delegate came from the 15 counties. Those that were elected from the convention, before the convention, to serve as delegate, to elect our official of the party, they are the legitimate chairperson. Everyone they want this before you told one somebody from there, say who wants to say you want to be contesting, then you say you are Monserrate County chair. Then you do it to rob the president of the Republic of Liberia.
Found unification party calls for the immediate suspension or dismissal and subsequent prosecution of latest boss Professor Francis Webb, his deputies Lawrence George and Wilbur Smith, rector and rest of the current state. The recent LSC report is yet another testimony to how common criminals and fortune hustlers have taken over the state and are looting the state on an industrial scale.
As of today, Thursday, March 16, 2023, student politics on all UA campuses are hereby suspended until further notice. The suspension comes in the wake of the many violent disturbances on the University of Liberia campuses. Students are mandated to keep in strict conformity to this pronouncement.
Of the Civilian Coalition members of the UP, ANC, and Liberty Partisans, and all other political parties are invited to join me taking Liberia to a new era of peace and prosperity. We can count on the change that I have delivered, and I will continue to provide more transformative leadership. I'm here today to tell the Liberian people that I will be on the ballot as the presidential candidate in the next election.
Currently, we do not have good international or relation with the international community. One, the president, who is known as feminist in chief, who is known as one person who advocates for rights of women. He, President George Mani Weah, unconsciously elevated, instead of President Weah asking him to confront justice, he was elevated to become the doyen of his cabinet. He was appointed as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. That was a slap in the faces of women.
I want you to be careful. We are fighting for Nimba County to take the lead, and Nimba will win in the name of Jesus. Basa with us, Bapolu with us, Bombing with us, Lofa with us, Bon County with us. What is your problem? Then you on the radio on me. Hey, my brother, what I do?
All right.
You gotta change, because you as know your voice cannot cover the whole Berege. We're fighting for you. Equals our mama. Nimba will win. Abio bato the pa. Abo make a paper a cocarozi. And we did it. We are fighting for you. We're begging you people. If you make the man disgrace, or it will be good for you. When you turn to the man against our prayer for you to produce vice president, the woman is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, then I could be doing the job for you. Can he go everywhere? No. The woman is old. He take Kun to be vice president. When we win, then I could be doing the job for you. Can he go everywhere? No.
People last CPP. They make the funds in the car. We said, yeah, you should not have brought funds. And remember, the political party accusing us that we're paying the over to the government. Daniel represented, and we don't carry the gun. And I mean, I was talking. I mean, go take more funds. Go take, don't say nothing. Go take funds. I think something what you want to say, but you want me to say, I'll be saying, Mohammed God is ready for money. They may carry the gun. We had a lie for him. I'm sorry, I will lie. That day we lie. That just shot more we made. Shut more. Because we made it on technical legal ground. They should not have such legal without such words.
You think we don't know Obon gave you money to come and support the CPP? You took money from Dr. Cassette. I want in the CPP. You say your institutions are business institutions. Anybody that gave you money, you will promote them. Costa, check my records and check your records. I made you who you are. Come and help us. From the time I decided I'll be selling the COP, have you ever put a group? The only thing you do, COP donate 1 hand cent. COP that one COP was created for you. Power, I get a bigger platform. You get bigger platform, you couldn't win election in the country. You get nothing, Costa. You get another chicken. We'll put you in cartoon. We'll package you the money to take you to Freetown. So you get big mouth to talk. Criminal and you eat money from Ambassador. You promoted him here. All everyone that are silver people. What did the one Ambassador we are to do? The man doing well today, like Ambassador we are. That is what you do.
Throughout this year, there will be 3 primary candidates on the ballot. Other people will be running, by the way. But Gabriel had 3 choices. The choice to be Alexander Comey, or Joseph Boakai, or George Weah. That will be the 3 choices. Then Gabriel decide, and then we'll all live with the benefit or the consequence of the decision.
Councillor Brodsky was one person, brilliant, and the moment he died, the Labour Party died. The Labour Party is a headless chicken. Headless chicken has no leadership. And having an institution, having a group, such a group, in a collaboration is a threat. Because firstly, you need people to take leadership. And secondly, the Vice President Joseph Newman Boakai has no vision for this country. Because if you is the elders among those who are contesting, you should be the peacemaker. He referred to Ure as a Congo man and said to the same people that we have to collaborate.
Since I declare my support for Joseph Newman Boakai, I've been the target. And let me honestly, we don't know, but it's a serious campaign to ensure that Joseph Boakai deny the chairmanship of the CPP. People in the Liberty Party are sophisticated engaged. I will give you recall to that effect. I didn't want to be defeated, like I said.
You are listening to Alambra Broadcasting Corporation, ABC Radio, 105.7 FM.
Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Margibi. Good morning, Wapolo. Good morning, Bombing. Grand Cape Mount. Grand Bassa, Bong, Nimba, Mansorado, River G, River Cess, Sino, Maryland. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.7. Today is Thursday, the 21st day of September 2023. What a way I'd like to welcome you to the program this morning. My name is Fidel Sadie, and of course, I'm here with my team. As usual, lots of things to talk about. We're moving slowly but surely to the 2023 elections, October 10th. A little under 19 days to go. Something, thereabout. The most anticipated October 10th is drawing closer by the day. And so I'd like to say good morning to you wherever you are, however you're listening. This is ABC Radio 105.7. And our lineup is full this morning. Of course, as you may well know, the President of the Republic of Liberia was at the UNGA, that's the United Nations General Assembly, the 78th section. He delivered a magnificent speech. We'll be delving into that speech this morning, looking into the myths as well as reading it to you for those of you who did not listen to the president. And then we'll do our studio analysis of the president's speech, look at the content, try to fuck out of the ingredients and how they coincide with the realities on the ground. At 9 o'clock, we play host to Centaur's Head, Undersea Miami, this morning on the program. Undersea Miami will be our guest at 9 o'clock on the program this morning. But before then, we have all of our segments lined up for you. Of course, our motivational quote, the weather report, the traffic alerts, and our correspondent segment all lined up for you this morning on the program. But I'm here with my colleague, Anthony Jiffan. Anthony, good morning.
Good morning, Fidel. Let me say good morning to all of our listeners. It's a pleasure again to be here on this 21st September edition of the program, The Morning Breeze. As always, we are happy to be here. Thanks to all of our followers who continue to support our being here by the day. This is just a few hours after the address of President Weah at the UNGA. It's important that we're here today.
Okay. What does the weather say? We have a cloudy day today, 76 degrees Celsius. Precipitation is at 60%. Humidity is at 97%. And the wind speed is 3 miles per hour. And our motivational quote this morning says, every successful person in the world is a hustler, one way or the other. We all hustle to get where we need to be. Only a fool will sit around and wait on another man to feed him. Hey, yaka. Only FOOL will sit down and wait for another friend to go hustle, come back and get you small thing.
Yeah.
Only fool will do that one.
Bro, let me yell.
Yeah. Nothing for your Peking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your Peking won't start a day.
Another one says success is a prize for those who stand true to their ideas.
Yes. There's a difference between you having an idea and attaining success.
Right.
Having an idea and sticking true to your idea is the ultimate price that you have to pay for success. And so success does not come on a silver platter.
No.
Yep, it does not.
So you know it, you don't do it.
Yeah.
Nothing
You
will come.
not know it.
Yeah, nothing will come because nobody seeing you doing it.
And that's
And
why people say we do have educated fools.
Right.
Because if you are educated and you do not make use of your education, then you're not educated. Or if your education does not impart society, then you're not educated.
Right.
Of course not. Okay, let's go straight for our traffic alerts, Anthony.
And so we're starting from the Bourgeois Island area this morning. And so around the Morovia Club Breweries, what is called Beer Factory or Kuwait. At about this time, you expect a bit of traffic coming up from the Connect gas station they used to call Total. From there to Douala, around the Douala Market Junction or St. Mary's Catholic School. Another traffic around Catwell Junction. Well, you experience another traffic at about this time. When you move on to Sion Town, there is another traffic there. To Freeport, traffic. And then I go to Gardnersville before coming to town. Around Gardnersville Junction, a bit of traffic. Now on to St. Michael, a bit of traffic. New Georgia Junction, another traffic is there. Around the Battery Factory Junction to Jamaica Road, that place experienced also traffic. And then you come out to Freeport, where you experience a bit of traffic. Onto Petty Town Junction, well, you experience traffic because of the pop holes there. And when you pass that place around Claratown Store, another traffic. As soon as you leave Claratown Store to VAR Town, you experience another traffic. Then you cross to town now. You are safe to move about. I go on to Pinsville, excuse me, around the ELW Junction, a bit of traffic this morning at about this time. And then when you move on to Boulevard Junction, the SKD Boulevard Junction, there you experience the first intense traffic. At about this time, it is building up. When you come around the 540 or Ministerial Complex, another traffic there. Up to Catholic Junction, another traffic. Then you move on to Old Road Junction, yes, another traffic point. Now Vamoma, another traffic. 20th Street, Cinco, another traffic. Around the Old Ministry of Health, well, that place also experienced a bit of traffic. And then you move on to the Crown Hill, where you found the final traffic. You are in town already.
Okay, and in the Pinsville end, you want to do that for us?
I just came from Pinsville.
Okay, I'm lost, completely lost. But guess what? While our president was at the UN General Assembly yesterday, stating and outlining the gains we've made over the time, the progress we are making in our democracy, and the preparations we are making for the general elections in Liberia, the president of DR Congo was calling for the speedier withdrawal of UN troops in Congo. According to him, there's a need. I mean, it was actually set for the withdrawal was set for December 2024, but the message he wanted in 2023. He wants the United Nations to withdraw in 2023 instead of December 2024. He wanted in December 2023. Wow. You must start withdrawing. I mean, the admission is actually known as MONUSCO. I mean, and he said it has failed to bring peace in the country since they have been around for over 25 years now. And so there's no need for the peacekeepers to be in Dr. Congo. You see, one reason why we have to be happy about what we've attained over the period of time in Liberia. Other countries are fighting to restore, peace and governance in their country is proving difficult, even with the backing of the United Nations. Liberia has been able to do that for a relatively long period of time now. Over 20 years now, we've enjoyed relative peace in our country.
Right.
And I think that's kudos to us, the people of Liberia. Yep. Let's now run across the country and speak with our correspondents this morning on the program. Yaga.
Going for Al Jazeera?
I'm going for Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera has to be on the picking. Okay, so we'll go straightly to Margibi County and get our man Walcott Kiri on the line from Margibi County, the Al Jazeera. And sometimes I'm asking myself, the man is reporting for a network and then he's promoting another network.
Yeah.
How does our man, get in touch with it? And maybe I need to ask my man Walcott this morning. Okay, our man Walcott Kiri is live on the line this morning. Walcott Kiri, good morning.
Good morning to you, Manager Fidel City, and good morning to all of our valued listeners of ABC Radio, the place you cannot just beat the experience.
Okay. Anthony said, I should ask you this question. You are reporting for one network, yet you seem to be promoting another network in Al Jazeera. Why?
Well, the secret behind it is the grace of God, because I reference God in everything I do in life as human. And secondly, the professional orientation and media skills coupled with media orientation and knowledge and skills from outside of Liberia, backed by the blessings of God and that of the support of Professor Wilson Tappe, the executive director of the EPA, is just some of the secret behind what
he can tell you to say you Al Jazeera, man.
And I want to be grateful to Theo Williams of our staff. He the one started tagging me with that name, and thank you.
Okay. Now we understand
we now get a secret of Al Jazeera.
Okay, but how is Margibi County, the weather, and everything? How is it there?
Well, as we speak, the weather is very friendly this morning, but beginning from late last night, yesterday, we received heavy downpour of rain in Margibi County, and it was wet. And as we speak this morning, thank God for seeing another day, and thank God for our listeners and all of the workers of ABC Radio. The weather condition as we speak in Margibi is friendly.
ABC Radio, you got to do with weather. But welcome, my man. No time to wait. Let's go to our real issue. What's happening in Margibi, my brother?
Well, the Honorable Jonathan Sakupa Foundation in District Number 5 in Wheeler, Sinter Township, Margibi County continues to make headway, especially with regards to the mass exodus of students pending graduation on Sunday. This Sunday coming September 24, 2023. And it will be a campaign launch of the representative candidate, Honorable Cooper, in the district. So citizens are chanting slogans, making preparations for this day. And over 200 students are set to graduate from different skills, beginning pastry, baking, soap making, driving, which is paramount to them. And they say motorcycling, riding is not a job, or driving they see as good. And Honorable Jonathan Sakupa Foundation is providing that. So that is the most trending issues, and Kakata is peaceful, and all of the political actors in the race are making their way, stretching their political tentacles. Even the senatorial candidate, Joseph Yabuya, toured the length and breadth of the county and the district, meeting with people, identifying their problems, sharing with them, giving helping hands. So these are the issues paramount in the county, and that of the Liberia National Police, LMP, continues to cry for logistical and vehicular empowerment ahead of the crucial elections. And the National Elections Commission already started making preparations, at least to ensure that these elections are going to be conducted in a free, fair, and credible manner.
Okay, Walker, thank you so much for keeping us updated with what's happening in Margibi County. It was a pleasure having you on the program. Do have yourself a great Thursday.
Thank you so much, and I invite you and others to come and share breakfast with Al Jazeera Walcott Kerry, biggest correspondent in Margibi, the place you cannot just beat the experience.
Walcott Kerry, thank you so much, my brother. Enjoy yourself. The Al Jazeera. Let's now run to Maryland County and speak with our man Patrick Menza in Maryland County this morning on the program. This is the Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.7 with me in Fidel City, Anthony J. Fine, and our entire team yet to be completed in the building. But yes, let's go to Maryland County and speak with Patrick Menza. We're trying to connect Patrick Menza this morning on the program. Well, it seems Patrick is not ready yet. So what do? We run to Grand Cape Mount County quickly and speak with our man, Fode Camara there in Grand Cape Mount County. Let's find out what's going on in that part of Liberia, Western Liberia, by the way. Let's get to know what's going on in Western Liberia. Yeah, Robert Sport. I'm told it's also hospitable.
Yes, of course.
I've not gone. I mean, Robert Sport yet.
Oh, I've been there several times.
I've not gone there. I mean, of
quite,
course.
quite recently, I was even there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And when the president went to Robert Sport?
Yes.
Okay. You can only go there when the president go there.
No, the last time I went there, the president was on there anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't have record of that. So I don't believe you. Okay, we're trying to establish contact with our man, Fode Camara. But you in tune to the Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.7. The breeze is blowing across the country,
right,
and ensuring that it positively impacts the society. And that's why we're here for. We can't get our man. Let's run to Sino County quickly. There's an inherent excitement that comes with going to Sino County whenever I talk about going to Sino. The county where all of the senatorial candidates, they are afraid to enter the county.
Yeah,
and in fact, the one that are entering, they're using different rules. They're not using the main route. We told Matthew Zaza was the first person, right?
Yes.
To go there.
Use the Grand Jide
the
route.
Grand Jide route. and we expect other people to use unusual routes that lead to the county. And we say unusual because there are areas that are roads that lead straight through the county. And when they don't use that road with no straight, there's something wrong. In fact, there have been initial fear of who will be the first to enter the county.
Yes, when you enter there first, they will win you.
They will win you.
So let's see. Matthew Zaza is the first now.
Yeah, let's see whether they will be in.
But we've been told that he has not entered Greenville. Let's see whether he finished entering Greenville in the last hours.
But somebody still gotta. And I don't know how they would do it, but somebody still gotta enter that county. Yeah, I remember man county loaded at Wishka County, so where everybody's scared to go. Milton TJ scared to go through the rear route. Matthew Zaza, Creighton Donkin. Who again? Other than scared to go through the right route, other than waiting, who will enter the county for it? The funniest thing I've heard in elections. Even in election, they can do bad thing there. But let's go to Bon County, Central Liberia, and speak with our man Nathan. Nathan, good morning.
Good morning, Fidel. Good morning to the people of Monrovia.
How is Bon County this morning?
Well, Bon County is relatively calm this morning.
We are told the Liberia Council of Churches, the Bon County chapter, is calling on Bongis to hold the peace ahead of the October 2023 elections. What actually necessitated this statement, and who exactly made this statement from the Liberia Council of Churches, Bon County chapter?
Yes, the county coordinator of the.
You have to come again. You have to switch your position and regurgitate what you just said.
Okay, I'm saying is a county coordinator. His name is Reverend German Wiki, and he called on Bonking to be peaceful in the electoral process. And what you call the statement of himself sent the session of the campaign activity they've been involved of creating awareness to various churches in the county, not only in Lower Bon, but other part of the country. So he says it's important that Bongi need to be peaceful ahead of the election. He also talked about they've been working the Ministry of National Election, other NGO in the country to provide more awareness on the various campuses and churches in the country. So he says it's important that the church can play an essential role in the electoral process, because found out in the churches, you find more people are in the church. So it's important that the church and members of the church to be peaceful in the electoral process.
Okay. Now, I mean, where was he speaking? I mean,
he made a statement yesterday. He have a press conference in the country where he invited some local journalists and talk about it. Also talk about today the association will be having a workshop of funding from the European Union, so they'll come broad churches across the country to talk to them about the election. And my manager the church then playing a key role in the electoral process. So it's important that Bonki to be peaceful in the electoral process. And they also get a funding from organizations like Operating Bomb, bombing and grants in the country foreign. So they said they're going to work in line with other churches like so Liberians can hold it or hold the peace, basically Bonki ahead of the election in the country.
Okay. Is there any other thing we need to know from Bon County this morning, Nathan?
Yeah, just to take give a electoral district 1, the representative Elo Apple Hill on Tuesday night he was attacked because the issue of electoral violence in one of the district, Kogra district, district number 1 have Shortford district. He was in Bonsen, specifically came to where another candidate was canvassing one Emma Corner, somebody supporter, and they went. There was argument there, so some of the supporter, the current lawmaker, and Emma Corner, they decided to argue, and some guys were flogging the process. So the police went there and they told me currently the matter is the LNP bond by detachment in the country.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nathan. Thank you so much for that report. And we look forward to hearing from you tomorrow. Do have yourself a great Thursday and stay away from trouble.
Yeah, thank you always.
Okay. All right. He's our man, Nathan Kali there in Central Liberia, Bon County. Let's go back to Grand Cape Mount County where our man Fodi Kamara is and find out what's going on in that part of the country. This is the Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.7. In case you just joined us, we'd like to say welcome to the program this morning. Let's now run to Grand Cape Mount County, where Fode Kamara is. Good morning, Fode.
Good morning, our ABC family, and good morning to the peace, love, and citizens of the people of Liberia.
How is the weather like in Grand Cape Mount County this morning? Specifically, which part of Grand Cape Mount are you?
Currently this morning, I'm in Robertsport. I left from 10 yesterday. That is Borosa and Akinlasen in Robertsport today. And the weather is actually okay for us. The sun is coming right to say today is the month of March or February.
Okay. Now, tell us exactly what is the latest happening there in Grand Cape Mount? What is of interest to the public that we need to know?
Today in Grand Cape Mount County, Honorable Joseph Yuma Boakai will be in the county today to speak to Cape Mountainians so that he can give the authority to control the country. So he will be here and he will serve our Boy, he will serve our DJ, Borosa, Cheni, Damala, King George, Lofa Bridge. But according to the protocol, he may not be entering Robertsport because I may be aware the Vice President came last time. He entered Robertsport and spoke with the citizenry to give them one-round victory.
Okay. Now, how is the preparation going for the former Vice President's arrival?
Well, as we stand, according to the PRO, Mr. Hauna Gurupusawa, so we said the preparation is on course. Everything are on course. They will be receiving him in a warm welcome reception at the border point between Bomi and Cape Mount. So we actually anticipate to be there before about 11 to 12 o'clock this afternoon, so that we can actually observe the momentum. Because he said the county is prepared. In fact, he told me to put a preacher on T-shirt so that they can have it on to welcome the president for Unity Party presidential candidate, Honorable Joseph Yuma Boakai, into the county of Grand Cape Mount.
Now, I mean, you follow political activities in Grand Cape Mount. From the reading of things, who seem more like the most dominant force in Grand Cape Mount as it is right now, at least as per your lenses?
Yeah, as per our tour, we observe that everywhere you go, the Unity Party presidential candidate names will be everywhere in the corner. That's why we have all of supporting the ruling establishment. But in the action, we've been seeing that we need change. We need change.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other thing we need to know?
Yeah, yesterday, Honorable Vani Msewa launched his campaign Cape Mount, and he won the alcohol ticket. So they were here yesterday. Abumoto page tell the people District 2 that District 2, this is your time. That you need a young leader who will take the mantle of authority to listen to you, because young people are not hard to deal with because they are there for the people and they can understand the people. And the young people, they are very refined to actually take mantle of authority to control meaningfully the interests of the people. So the district should rely on him 100% to gain the authority to serve at the House of Parliament and ensure that everything will be done positive when it comes to lawmaking, oversight, and representation. And he said that the concession agreement in Grand Cape Mount County with all the companies will make sure that it will be reviewed and the county will actually realize the fruitful result. And all the companies in Cape Mount, their head of it will be built in Robertsport City. That's what he said.
Okay. Thank you so much, my brother. Do have yourself a great Thursday and stay away from trouble. Be safe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All the pleasure to having me.
Okay. He's our man Fode Kamara there in Grand Cape Mount County. Jiffa, where do we go next?
Are we going to Sino?
Let's try Sino one more time. If we can get our man through Elijah Grendel, then we'll call it a day right here on the program and go straight to our talking points this morning. Okay, we have to come back in studio, Anthony. No time to waste. Yep, no time to waste. Welcome back to the program. If you've just joined us, we'd like to say welcome as well. This is the Morning Breeze on ABC Radio 105.7. And our focus this morning on the first segment will be the president's speech on yesterday, Anthony. As you well know, the president spoke at the United Nations General Assembly 78th section. Of course, activities are ongoing. On the sideline of that, by the way, the First Lady of the Republic of Liberia also spoke as well. And so we'll be looking at that. Jeffan, I guess you listened to the president's speech. I will endeavor to re-sim this morning. But let's hear your perspective. I mean, at least from what you've gathered from what he said on yesterday.
So one of the major things, and I think the president talked about yesterday, as he was addressing his colleagues at the United Nations General Assembly, was the fact that the president was clear on a conduct of a peaceful election, void of influence. The fact that the president was able to tell the world that the National Elections Commission will conduct an election free of violence, free of influence, and there will be, if possible, because the fact that the election will be conducted peacefully, free of all of the negative aspect that people are foreseeing, there is a possibility that if the president is not given the chance to go back for the second time, there will also be a peaceful transition. And so the president reminded his colleagues that the first time, 5 years ago, when he spoke at that very position, he informed them about a peaceful transition that Liberia went through from one democratically elected government to another in 2017, 2018. And so Liberia is going for election. The president also told his colleagues that since the end of war, this is the fourth general elections that Liberia is going for. This is the first since unmilled transition from Liberia. We have enjoyed peace. Quite recently, we celebrated 20 years of peace. 5 or 6 of those years were when unmilled was out of this country. We've lived together in harmony and peace, and having a country like Liberia where the people continue to live in peace, even in the absence of external security, it means that Liberia is on a right path. And so, again, there is a different way to say, and another thing is to do. But I believe that everybody loves Liberia. And with what the president has said, that the election, when you're telling your friends over there, all of the world leaders sitting down, and you say, we can guarantee a peaceful, transparent, incredible election for all of the negatives, it means that you are making a vow to your friends. That means anything on the contrary, your friends are going to judge you. Less than a month, less than 20 days, Liberia goes to election. And the president spoke less than 21 days to the election. So that alone remains fresh in the ears and minds of everyone, all of the colleagues. And so the world is watching. We are grateful that the president was able to speak successfully, and he returned today, as we expect. Anyway, that one are your business. So that's it, video.
Okay, and so the president returns on today, as we've been told by the presidential press secretary. The president should be in country on today. But here is exactly what he said, and I want to this out to the public while we discuss the content as well. His Excellency Mr. Denis Francesch, President of the 78th United Nations General Assembly, His Excellency Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, heads of state and government, ambassadors, heads of delegations, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by extending sympathy to all nations experiencing loss of lives due to recent natural disasters. May the souls of all faithful departed rest in perfect peace. I am honored to address this 78th section of the United Nations General Assembly on behalf of the government and people of the Republic of Liberia. I congratulate His Excellency Mr. Denis Francesch on his election as President of the 78th section of the United Nations General Assembly, trusting that he will bring his wealth of experience to bear on the works of this august assembly. I wish to assure him of my delegation's fullest support as he steers the works of this assembly successfully, in fulfillment of the expectation and confidence reposed in him. Let me use this occasion to congratulate your predecessor, His Excellency Mr. Sabah Kursi, for his capable manner in which he administered the affairs of the 77th section of this General Assembly. Let me also commend His Excellency Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, for the astute manner in which he continues to administer the affairs of the United Nations in these difficult and challenging times. His foresight, commitment, and dedication have kept the United Nations firmly on course. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, we have convened at a time when the world is faced with many challenges: security, social, economic, political, and natural disasters. We must exert our collective efforts to confront these challenges with a view of resolving them in order to have a safer, secure, and prosperous future. We must continue to promote global solidarity and rebuild trust in accelerating progress on the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The SDGs, by design, require bilateral and multilateral collaborations to achieve the results we seek. The theme of this year's debate: rebuilding trust and reenacting global solidarity, accelerating action on the 2030 agenda and its SDGs toward peace, prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all, adequately captures our current global demands. Quite exactly, by the way. There is critical need to ensure that development assistance is aligned with SDG projects. That is why my delegation welcomes and supports the Secretary General's agenda of action to accelerate the implementation of existing agreements, including the Sustainable Development Goals, and to re-embrace global solidarity and find new ways to work together for the common good of mankind. The president is saying here that, there are different outlined activities in the SDGs. We believe that every kind of relationship that we form or support to different countries must be based on our drive to ensure that we are able to, achieve the SDGs before 2030, as it's been projected. All right. And it goes on to say, as the world deals with unprecedented global political and security challenges, there are growing concerns about the proliferation of non-state armed actors, threats of nuclear escalation, and extreme climate conditions. These challenges continue to serve as obstacles to our quest for a safe and peaceful world. Of course, we know about the situation in Africa right now, the wave of, coup taking place across Africa.
Yes.
And armed insurgency across other parts of the world, as well as threats of nuclear attack from countries like North Korea and what have you. Of course, the president goes on to say, Mr. President, the slowdown in global economic growth continues to be a challenge. Over the past 12 months, Liberia has made progress in areas ranging from health to education, gender equality, and infrastructural development. We are proud of our achievements in reducing maternal mortality rates, increasing gender parity in school enrollment, and elevating our overall health and well-being. Liberia appreciates the fact that this august body has once again directed its attention to issues of global health, as demonstrated by the number of high-level meetings to keep this critical issue on our collective agenda. Of course, you listen to the report from the Ministry of Health regarding, from the Ministry of Education regarding the enrollment of female students in our schools over the last year.
Right.
Last academic year, there was increment in the number of female students that were in school as opposed to previous years.
Right.
So it means the government is making strides in ensuring that parity, educational parity is achieved between males and females. And so that is something that the government has done. Of course, the building of hospitals across the country, the equipping of those hospitals by the government as well, the dialysis center at JFK and what have you, those are some of the gains that have been made by the government in terms of health. In terms of infrastructure, we know the road construction works that are going on across the country as well. These are infrastructural improvements that the government has made. Construction of schools and renovation of schools. Renovation of TVET institutions across the country as well. For example, my own Sano County now does have a TVET institution, which are some of the gains that the government has made in terms of improvements in education as well. And of course, we know about the WACs. We know about the free tuition policy at public higher institutions of learning. Those are strides that have been made by the government in that regard. Now, the president continues. Mr. President, we emphasize unity of purpose as we address challenges aimed at providing basic services to all peoples. Considering that more than 60% of Liberia's population comprises of youth, the future of our nation rests on their shoulders. Understanding this immense responsibility, we are committed to continue paving the way for their growth and development. Being cognizant that structural transformation drives prosperity, we are focused on infrastructural development with roads and energy playing a critical part. Thanks to the support of our many partners, we remain unwavering in our commitment to explore means to further the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals as it represents the roadmap towards prosperity. As Support Secretary General Antonio Guterres' proposed SDG stimulus plan and call for the actualization of the $500 billion per year in order to boost sustainable development for developing countries through tackling the high cost of debt and rising risk of debt distress, scaling up of affordable long-term financing for development and expanding contingency financing to countries in need. Of course, the United Nations Secretary General does have a plan in place for countries that are involved with the Sustainable Development Goals, some $500 billion per year. Of course, that's a stimulus plan that has been initiated by the UN Secretary General to help countries that are trying to strive to gain these, the Sustainable Development Goals before 2030 has been earmarked. And so the president believes that there is a need for concerted efforts and that countries that are in debt, that are debt strapped, because of course we know Ghana, for example, Ghana is debt strapped. Liberia too, we do have our own external debt issues, but they are not as high as countries like Ghana. So the president of Liberia is calling for continuous support so that these debt burdens can be scaled down on countries like Ghana who are struggling through, payment of debts to bilateral and multilateral partners. Of course, so the president has also stressed that as well. And he's also called for long-term financing of development projects across, the world, especially for countries that are in need. And he continues, Mr. President, Liberia profoundly appreciates the continued engagement and support from the United Nations system in consolidating its peace and seeking to address emerging challenges. Liberia will continue to cooperate and collaborate with the United Nations as it continues to rebuild and strengthen its institutions and infrastructure. 5 years ago, on the occasion of my first address to this August Assembly, we informed you of a peaceful democratic transition that had just taken place in Liberia. With your support and that of our friends, we have kept the democratic torch burning. We have maintained peace and security. We have protected human rights and the rights of the media to operate peacefully and freely. The Liberian people have enjoyed the full exercise of their constitutional rights. The country is well on course of consolidating its democratic credentials. I am pleased to inform you again that in few weeks, Liberians will go to the polls in keeping with the Liberian Constitution to vote in our scheduled presidential and legislative elections. The October polls will mark the fourth peaceful general elections in Liberia since the end of the Civil War in 2003. Jeffan, and this is an important issue this morning, that the government and the president, of course, we've had 4 successive general elections after 2003. We had 2005, right?
Yes.
We had 2011. We had 2017, and we are about to have 2023. And this is a good democratic portfolio for Liberia. We've also maintained the peace. Kudos to the people of Liberia who have seen the need for this country to be peaceful. Kudos to the leaders as well, because they've been able to maintain our democratic credentials. Because without democracy, obviously you will have people agitating to ensure that our democratic rights are returned. But we've lived in a relatively peaceful country where our democracy has thrived over the years, and we are still hoping that we have another peaceful election and solidifying our quest for a peaceful and democratic state. And government has done that as well. Peace and security, of course, we've done that in the absence of unrest. We've been able to live in this country in peace. We've not experienced any kind of external or internal aggression that will unseat government or lead to people running helter-skelter. We've enjoyed that degree of peace under this government, and that is something we can all boast of as a people in Liberia. And the president has also committed the government of Liberia to a peaceful and transparent elections. And this is very key to where we are today, that as we move to these elections, it is expected that all the processes that lead to elections and on elections day, that the rights and the aspirations of the people will be respected. And that is why we will be behind these microphones. Our people will be in the fields, giving you the numbers that are, reminiscent of the aspiration of the Liberian people, and the Liberian people's interest is not shortchanged just because a particular group of people think they should come to power, or a particular group of people think they should stay in power. The democratic tenets of this country must be protected, and that's why we are here for, Jefan.
Of course.
All right. And then the president continues. This 78th section is taking place at the time when my country is preparing for the first elections since the withdrawal of the UN peacekeeping presence from Liberia. The October 10 elections is an opportunity to sustain the gains made in our reconstruction and development processes. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Liberia has taken all necessary measures to ensure a free, fair, transparent, peaceful, inclusive, and credible elections. The National Elections Commission has been strengthened to ensure that it operates without undue influence. In addition, political parties have committed themselves to a non-violent electoral process by signing the 2023 Farmington River Declaration, which obligates all actors in the elections to continue to promote peace. As a strong believer in democracy, let me reiterate my call for the respect of constitutional governance and respect for the will of the people. While addressing the issue of elections and democracy, permit me to congratulate all democratically elected leaders around the world. Mr. President, our world is under threat from natural calamities as seen with extreme climate conditions globally. It is therefore our collective responsibility to urgently prioritize addressing the climate crisis as we strive to reach a target of 64% reduction in carbon emission. There remains a need to prioritize support to countries, including Liberia, that have the capacity to use its biodiversity in building resilience against the changing climate. Of course, Liberia has a huge biodiversity. Our green forest, our carbon, resources. Those are areas that the world, the United Nations, and other institutions can invest in, and that will bring capital to us as a country.
Yes, it depends on how we use it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the president has availed.
Yeah, he has thrown out
the challenge to the world.
Right.
That Liberia is prepared to continue in this climate change effort, and what we require is your support in this direction. Great. All right. And said the president continues. The United Nations has always been confronted with challenges and has withstood the test of time. Hence, this too will come to pass. I wish to thank the Secretary General for his new agenda for peace. Liberia is in solidarity with these bold steps needed to address the triple crisis of disruption, biodiversity loss, and pollution destroying our planet. Liberia is hopeful that concrete global actions towards the attainment of the goals of the common agenda will be achieved. Liberia's journey is best captured in the spirit of unity, resilience, and ambition. Together, through collaboration and shared purpose, we can and must shape a world that upholds the rights and dignity of every individual. In alliance with our United Nations family, Liberia remains resolute in its commitment. We pledge to protect our planet, promote peace, and prevent conflicts. We vow to ensure sustainable financing and amplifying our partnerships, reflecting our shared determination for a brighter future. We must also accept that this can only be achieved through collaboration between and among governments, not government stakeholders and other partners, which will guarantee transparency, accountability, good governance, and the inclusion of all citizens in the decision-making process. The president continues, and that is committing Liberia to, addressing the challenges of the world, whether, conflict, whether the issue of climate change. All of those vices that continue to tear the world down. The president of the Republic of Liberia, President George Manneh Weah, has committed the support of Liberia to addressing all of these issues. Now he continues. Where am I? We must also. Okay, no. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, let us remind ourselves that our collective strength lies in our unity. There, together, we can overcome any challenge, rebuild trust, promote peace, religious tolerance, uphold the tenets of democracy, rule of law, support women participation, economic diplomacy, and strengthen global solidarity. I thank you. Jiffan, this speech is tight, brief, and it addresses a lot of issues that Liberia, the place we are. And I must say, whoever wrote this speech, for Christ's sake, you've done one of the best speeches I've read from the president in a long time. The president has made some good speeches, but this one is well niched, it's tied together. It has ingredients, it has substance, it has meat. All right.
And this speech meet the current day reality. It match the current happenings across the world. Imagine video in less than 6 years. In fact, in approximately 3 years, you have four coups. Six coups in Africa. And so the president, where he talked about Liberia remaining resolute, pledging Liberia support or commitment to protecting our planet, promoting peace. And so again, just few days ago, there was a very serious earthquake in Morocco. Few days ago, there was a flood in Libya. There is also a flood in Spain. And so with all of these negative vices influencing the survival of people across the world, the president has spoken, and if I would say, the president has sounded nationalistic, has sounded
a universal figure,
has sounded patriotic to the entire world. The president has sounded, and in fact, he has shown his love and the love of Liberia to all other countries, regardless of how or what may be the situation. So Liberia is committed to helping. For instance, today our peacekeeping group is in Mali, helping to restore peace in that part of Africa. Who knows? Tomorrow, Liberia could send peacekeeping troops to another country that is affected or that needs our help. Liberia has a climate that can accommodate surrounding countries. And so when the president opened up to say Liberia is open to ensuring that the world is safe from climate change and the rest of it, it means that, but on the real note, the person who prepared his speech, and I must say thank you to that person and thank to the president for delivering such a speech at a point where we're going for election. Our neighboring countries and our brothers and sisters are going down because of some negatives, either for conflict, coup, or earthquake, or not other natural disasters. It is a time that each and every one, again, the president has recognized the efforts of his friends who have endeavored to seek democratic leadership. Again, this is a message to those of our friends, other leaders who believe in that they should perpetuate into leadership. For instance, a few days ago, we were talking about the guy from
Rwanda,
yes.
Paul Kagame.
We were talking about Kagame few days ago. And so, this speech, and again, the president has committed, not nationally, but internationally, committed his government to the conduct of a free, fair, and transparent election. He has said that nationally. He has said that to Liberians. This time, he has said it to the world.
Okay, so the president has said it to the world. You've listened to the speech. What is your perspective of the message the president has sent out? And considering that, in fact, he emphasized how political parties in Liberia have committed themselves to ensuring that we have a peaceful process, and that the process does not in any way get corrupted by their individual aspirations and what they think they stand for. Let's go to the phone lines on 0777 105 100, 0555 105 100. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Anthony Jeffa. And thanks for the show, David E. Harris.
Let's hear you, David.
I called from Benson Street this morning. Fidel, man, take away from that whole speech.
Oh, David, please call back 0777 105 100, 0555 105 100. Let's hear you listening to us. What do you make of the president's message? Is it what you expected? Did what he said actually? Is it a semblance of what's happening on the ground, or maybe he did not say what you expected him to say? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to the peace-loving people of Liberia. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Oh, the president did well. Yeah.
Okay, he did well.
And yes, in his speech.
Okay.
And all of them, I monitor the government also. All of them, they attack the climate change. And there's me now for Africa to wake up and be united. And there's me now for there's me for us to tell the white people, which is the Western, the American, please calm down. When European people told you that, oh, it is enough, we are here to feed ourselves. So the 2023 regime going to 2024, Africa wake up and tell the European people it's Western.
All right. Thank you. We have to leave it at that. Let's take another person. Good morning.
Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, I'm Kimaka, man. I'm from Johnson Street.
Let's hear you, Kimaka.
Well, Peter, the president talking about, the Palestine declaration, all political leaders try to go on to the peace, so we can have free and fair, transparent, inclusive election, Fine and good, I appreciate the president for that. But meanwhile, I actually have problem when it comes to help. The president said they made tremendous effort when it comes to help. I think that's a policy there. I tell you seriously, brother. Even at GFK, if you go there, you buy, people still buying your outside. They just so. So for the president to say they made tremendous effort when it comes to help, it's quite unfortunate.
Okay. All right, my brother. Thank you.
To conclude.
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
The president talking about the education policy that they put down, So I got to commend the president on a particular issue. Because the president made free education in university or library, all other public universities. So I want to commend the president on issue.
All right, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. 0777 105 100 0555 105 100. Good morning.
Yeah, David, is back on the line.
Yeah, let's hear you, David.
Yeah, man, take away from that whole speech is where the president committed himself to the whole entire world, world leaders, that indeed our electoral process, our election will be free, fair, credible, and transparent. And he also showed the world that the Foundation Declaration, they will uphold to it. But now, Fidel, it is incumbent upon our NEC, our electoral body, to ensure too that this election will be free, fair, and transparent. I just want to thank you and Jason for the platform.
Thank you so much, my brother David. Let's take our man Copa pass away on this other line. Good morning, Copa.
Good morning, Fida, and good morning to the people of Liberia.
You listened to the president on yesterday. Unarguably, one of his best speeches in over the period of time of his service.
I'm not a type of Liberian who go for best speeches, right? But I go for the substance in the speech.
So if the substance in the speech is what you go for, then why don't you characterize it if it is the right thing as the best speech?
Thank you. So the fact that the president took to the podium at the USGA and told the Liberian people that the media are operating free, fair, and transparently, and I came back to myself that the president under a regime whose effort was shut down, whose effort election was rejected. So it suggests that the president gave misinformation to the world. Okay. More to that, the president did say that he signed on to the Foundation Declaration for peace and transparent election. The last time we checked during the Obiora campaign, the president party was throwing casting of another political leader all in the street.
And which was condemned by the president's party.
But he also announced to the public that my party may make error, though we sound like agreement party when the king said agreement.
How you want the man to say that thing? If you were Joseph Boakai, he would say that thing.
Because Joseph Boakai realized supporter of Kerry Cassie on the person.
And that's why he apologized. He's not in the minds of his supporters. He apologized.
So moving forward, the president talked to the public and to the platform and told the world that the health sector is doing well. And you are journalists here in the country, the health sector doing well. Go at JFK to tell you to give the prescription to go and buy your own drugs. So these are amazing information the president came to the world. We get international panel, they are here, they're seeing those things.
Okay.
So the president wants to go there and announce to the world that our people say need more help. That will say challenge when they come to good governance.
Of course, he said that. Apparently, you were just focused on the negatives. Thank you so much, Copa. We have to leave it at that. Let's take more calls on the program. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Fidel.
Good morning, my brother.
My name is Alvin and I call for the UN draft.
Let's hear you, Alvin.
Well, Fidel, let me appreciate the morning for the beautiful reading which you did this morning, and also let me appreciate the Almighty God for pumping breath into us, our voice to be heard. Look, Fidel, yesterday when I sat down quietly listening to the radio and President William when he was partying, the tears were rolling down my eyes. I said, people said this man I know nothing. This man, for everything yesterday, I watched the thing on video in fact. You know, the man speaking, he's looking at the crowd directly because they now with bending your head down like you said. This speech is one of the brilliant speech. So we know every time President we are going somewhere for criticize and we have something to say because they are not in his interest. So we are not to care about that. We just get the people with Almighty God for giving our president wisdom to make our case in our nation to be in our interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Let's take more calls. 0777 105 100 0555 105 100. The president's speech on yesterday. He committed the government of Liberia. In fact, he said resources have been provided to the National Elections Commission for the conduct of a free, fair, transparent, and credible elections. What do you make of the president's speech? Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Momo Fode, and I join from Do Community Samanima Village. Thank you. This president spoke well. Some places you have an error there when it comes to the education system, when it comes to women participation, when it comes to the Foundation Declaration.
Let's take it one at a time.
Okay, thank you. The education system that the president talked about is education in Liberia is free. I can challenge that. Go to the government school. You pay more than 2,000 to 3,000 before entering. So I don't think that you have the right to say education in Liberia is free.
Tuition? No, he did not make mention of whether or not he said gains have been made in the sector. He did not, specify whether or not people were paying or that are free school. He said gains have been made. We were explaining to you exactly some of those gains that have been made. the fact that we have a free tuition policy. Tuition is different from fees. Get to understand that tuition is different from fees.
Let's go to the issue. When you say free tuition, Ravi, let me tell you, go to Tottenham Hall now. You know that what the president said, it was error. If you go to JFK now, there is no mattress, there is no place to put patients.
So people at the JFK have explained this to us. We had them here. The problem that we have is not the issue of lack of beds. It's an issue of lack of space because the JFK is overwhelmed now. It does not have the capacity to contain all of those patients that are coming from other parts of Liberia. So the concentration of the weight is on JFK. So the plan is to build another referral hospital that will cushion the load that is on JFK. So it's not the issue of bed, it's the issue of space to put beds.
If it is so, then I will accept that. But let's go to winning participation. Check on the coalition of Democratic change ticket. How many female candidates are contesting on a ticket?
Okay.
You can remember when the president went Bon County. A foreign lawmaker in Bon County, in the face of how the president leave a man up that he is the man that is supporting. The vice president too is supporting the woman. So
but the woman does not come from the main political party. How you expect him to support the woman? She's not from.
He said women participation.
So women participation does not mean. Women participation does not mean a person who does not come from your political party should be supported by you as the president. It means you should give. It means you should give more opportunities to women. The Minister of Gender is a woman. The Minister of Public Affairs is a woman. The Minister of Commerce is a woman. The head of NOCA is a woman. Are these now women who have been given opportunity?
It's because they are qualified, but you should not say women participation. Check and discussing about a party ticket because we say women participation when they get into the primary. So they are more qualified than the men.
So the
party ticket, there's the reason they gain the opportunity.
They have it.
That's because they appointed as minister or deputy minister, assistant minister. That's not an issue.
Every political party has a democratic process. What is important? Yeah, let me learn. No. If you can name me one person, then I will resign from this show. One person who won the election and was marginalized.
It happened in district number 11, if I'm right. A guy contested on the primary.
Who the guy that contested?
They took the guy from the primary and they brought someone in the picture.
You say woman again and you go to guy again, my man.
No, I can give you so lot of instances.
Yeah, I'm listening to those instances. The first one you gave up, it's obviously 40 because you just making mention of guy. You said there are instances where women went to the process, they won, and they were marginalized in favor of a man. So I'm asking you to give me an instance. Okay, he left the line. Well, I know he can't because there's no record of that. Women participation is not just about, contesting for political offices. Besides, the platform should be given, to women. For example, if a party goes into the primaries and a female is contesting, that is an opportunity given a lady to participate in the process. If 3 women are participating, it is an opportunity given to those 3 women. So the point is, they are being given the opportunity to participate. If in the democratic process, those women do not get, selected or elected as per what their party regulations call for, then you cannot blame the president. But the opportunity is being afforded them. Women are not being shown to participate in political activities. The current standard bearer of the Liberia Free Movement, Sarah Beslow Yanti, is participating in the electoral process. The first standard bearer of the CPP is a woman. She's participating in the process. All right. The current vice president is a woman. She's participating in the process. Josephine Davis from District Number 10 is a woman. She's participating in the process. So there are a lot of women who are participating. The platform has been given to women, which is the point being stressed here by the president, that we've given the opportunity to women. It is left with them for these opportunities to be honest, and they are able to make more gains in ensuring that they get elected on these party tickets. That's all. You go to, Bombing County. Yes. What's her name? Marama Fofana. What? I think Marama. Yeah, somewhere from Lofa. All right. These women have been given opportunity. Judy Wia Fatoma. She's been given opportunity. She's a woman. All right. So there are lots of women who are participating in the process. The thing is, It is a competitive process, and it requires you to win in order to be on the party's ticket. 0777-105-100, 0555-105-100, 0777-105-100. At 9 o'clock, we play host to the head of Central, Undersea Mailman, on the program this morning. But let's take more of your calls on the president's message at the United Nations General Assembly. What is your take? What is your takeaway? The content of the president's message, did that meet your expectation? Was the president's message below your expectation? What do you make? And that's what we're trying to obtain this morning, ascertain this morning from you. But clearly, we all know the president gave a good speech, as we read here. And we know the content of the speech is true. Of course, support has been given to the National Elections Commission to ensure a free, fair, and transparent elections. We know that the political parties in Liberia, they've signed on to the Farmington River Declaration to ensure a peaceful election. We know that Liberia, since the cessation of hostilities in 2003, we are about to have the fourth democratic, general elections. We've had different sets of elections. We have special senatorial elections. We've had by-elections, and we have had other elections in this country that have proven to be transparent through the efforts of the National Elections Commission. So there's absolutely no doubt that these processes will be transparent, and that we are hoping that there's no kind of foul play in the process. Let's go to the lines. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, okay. I'm Alfonso. I come from Congo Town.
Let's hear you, man.
Yeah, about the Korean church.
Okay, let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, okay. I want to commend all of you with brilliant expose this morning to the Liberian people. And I also want to appreciate the Excellency for the brilliant speech that he did. You know, Liberian people should graduate from EBCs and other kind of read my role, because I know yesterday the struggle we're in, and the gun battle we're in, it was democratic rights, and the rights are come. So when somebody is doing something that will benefit the Liberian people, that shows some developmental action, we should appreciate it. So I want to butcher the Excellency for his speech, and I want him to continue to move forward. So Liberian program, this is the kind of man who show that this country deserves development. Because all of the years we've been here, with the years that other leaders have been there, they have not set the example. So I want to caution to our Liberian people, well done for Mr. Weah for the message here. When he will stop, the other men who will come can begin. Liberian must start destroying our home, destroying the image of potential people within this republic. Look, let me be frank. Mr. Weah, immensely, he has shown the dreams of development. Because since we're born in our country history, we have not seen anybody. Our leaders, our engineers used to say, oh, when the money can't say the money is too much, we have our own engineer. But for what we see, the country will rather somewhere tomorrow, well, Liberia is proud of the new Liberia. I commend Mr. Weah and commend all of you with mosquito. Let God bless you and God protect each and everyone in the country. Liberian, go to vote, deliver your vote to Mr. Weah. Come October 10, 2023. God bless you, and thank you for putting me in the time.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, and thank you for your support. Of course, we've just received report from our Lofa County correspondent that there's a huge welcome of CDC delegates in Lofa County in preparation for the president's visit to Lofa. So let's run to Lofa County and speak with our man quickly on the sidelines of our discussion this morning. 0777-105-100. Let's go to Lofa County quickly and speak with our man Samuel Bully there in Lofa County and find out what is this plan preparation about, detail of that as well. Let's get to Samuel Bully as he's just sent that report in to know this morning. Samuel, good morning. I don't know where you are, but
yeah, good morning. Let me say good morning to our listeners.
Okay, you've just sent us a report regarding the preparation of citizens of Lofa County. What exactly are they preparing for? And tell us, how is the preparation process like?
Yeah, well, we just visited Foya this morning, and the preparation is there. But before we go to Foya yesterday, Kolahun District, the Bani Chiefdom over 1 million received the CDC delegate. Thousands of citizens from the Bani Chiefdom, over 1 million received. In fact, it was captioned that the same population that turned out during the time the president paid the face in Kolahun District. Almost the population was more than that yesterday, where the delegates was overwhelmingly happy. The delegation, the CDC candidate Chief Moses Wakori said since they started the tour in Saraye EVE district, they have now received huge turnout equal to Kolahun district. And also Chief Tamon Farah assured that, well, matter of fact, it showed that citizens of Kolahun are now ungrateful, the Bani people are now ungrateful, because during the by-election, they told them if the CDC will help Councillor Joseph Patojara, definitely they're going to show them where there have been rumors that citizens of Kolahun are not supporting President Weah again, but he is saying that, well, matter of fact, they try now. And of course, it was raining, but can you imagine those supporters, the supporters were on the rain celebrating that we want re-election of President Weah. President Weah is the president that been helping us. President Weah is the one that paying our children's school fee. President Weah paid for our children's was fee until yesterday before the program. And the commissioner assured that, well, matter of fact, it is the rain that even made the population was not triple. But if it could not be rain, a matter of fact, the population could not be even able to obtain the fee where they were using in Kolahun district. And today I make the tour in Foya, where again Foya are really gaining a mobile momentum. They are saying, well, matter of fact, during the 17th of the launch of the Unity Party, there was huge turnout, but they are saying the huge turnout are going to be tomorrow will be tripling those that turned out in Foya during the 17th, where the campaign materials are being distributed. You see people walking from the various town and villages coming in Foya to see there today to see how they can welcome the CDC delegates, including Tomo Farah, District number 1 representative candidate.
Okay, that's good. So it means they are on their usual campaign trail.
Yeah, they are all their usual campaign trail. And they told the people that, well, matter of fact, this is just the pre-visitation. The president is expected to be in Lofa County on the 25th, and the president is expected to be in Kolahun on the 27th, as well revealed by Tomo Farah.
Okay, thank you so much for detailing us that report, and thank you very much. Do have a great day, Samuel.
Okay, thank you ever so much, and you're welcome.
Okay, so we just start to take Samuel to give us that report. Good morning.
Good morning, my dear brother. Good morning to the peace-loving citizens of Maryland County. Listen to my voice.
Your name and where you come from, brother?
Yeah, this is Augustine T. Williams, the proud and revolutionary son of Maryland County, an executive member of the Purple Defender, and I join you from station number 10, the Big Special.
Okay, let's hear you, my brother. You listened to the president yesterday.
Body education to one of our brothers who call and then you're talking about women participation. Besides the president, we're talking about elected position has to do with the people, right? Your acquaintance with the people justify your ability to be on any political party ticket, not limited to the CDC. So this is what we got the primary. The primary tells you who the people of that district of that particular area want. That person be placed on the ticket, not because they are 30%, so you get any kind of woman in the name of partisan or in the name of women participate, you put on the ticket. At the end of the day, they have the propensity to send the party backward because if the president does not have the ability to lead the people or to put down to the president has not been making impact in the lab before, definitely that person not be the ticket. At the end of the day, the women participation will be zero on the power of that political party. But in the president's wisdom, what his spirit and his constitutional spirit lies is to make appointments. And today, that you are naming, even the Ministry of Labor, the main minister are the women minister more than the main minister will get it. Most of the deputy minister of the Ministry of Labor, they are all women. You know, they are all women. The minister for manpower and training, all the people that hold it are lady. The administration there that are lady. So what we can tell you, the women are so many in this government. That tells you that the president got respect for women, the president respect our mothers, and the president respect any other person. Once you are in Liberia, you have the legitimacy in government or the right to live in Liberia, respect them. And this is why, for some of us who are using our political care eyes, For some of us who sat and read the history of this country and still reading, we understand that the only person for that matter that we can trust this country with in terms of the country moving forward, because my youth is not just for making the president, but the president should be loved by majority of the citizens. And the only love that will get to maintain the peace. Because of the maintain of peace, this is why investors are not coming. One is when the president just took over, investors were like judging Liberia as to whether they could handle their own affairs as a country, because man, you had the president of all me. So anybody could do business with Liberia because the level of security that was here. So when the people left, the people like support the precaution. They went across the river to see as well as we could maintain the peace. At the end of the day, we have to do something. We will keep president. We will do this. We will up again. We will go. The problem, 16 billion is that the people that but then Liberia, they are not ready yet. They took handle their own affair. So for the president, because he is loved by the people, this is why he to maintain the peace. So in order to maintain the peace, that is paramount to the survival of Liberia and Liberians. We have to use President Weah to accomplish the 12 years and see how best we can put ourselves together, put ourselves together, maintain the peace. Then after President Weah, we can look in the direction of any other president. But for now, the young people of this country are trying to put Maryland. This is what some of we saw recently. And I feel now I'm trying to go on my own in Maryland country to demystify, to reckon that the panic carry there.
Okay, my man, you're all right now. Yeah, okay, you can finish all the time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure.
All right, thank you. We're trying to establish contact with the spokesperson of the National Elections Commission. The Unity Party is agitating that the final voter roll has not been printed, and I'm told from unimpeachable sources that they are planning a protest at the headquarters of the of the National Elections Commission on tomorrow. And so we want to find out from the National Elections Commission as to whether they are in the know of the agitation from the Unity Party and where they are with that. Of course, let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, sorry, I can't continue with you. Get away from your radio. So at 9 o'clock, like I said, we'll play host to the head of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, CENTAR. Of course, you know CENTAR is the national chapter of Transparency International. I mean, it's actually a global coalition that's taking on anti-corruption initiatives across the world. I mean, and they are in over 120 countries. All right, let's get to this person. Good morning.
Yeah, this is Harrison Point.
Let's hear you, my brother.
Yeah, what's happening in the
No, we're talking about the president's message here. I just said that in passing. I mean, we're trying to establish contact with NEC. We want to find out quickly. And
yeah, so the price, I just want to tell you that the price is too, right? So today we are working on NEC to put out the voter roll. Other than that, tomorrow, Friday, our senators said it on FM already. We'll be serious protest tomorrow. The rest of the people will be outside tomorrow for NEC. So this is a wake-up call for NEC. Today, latest. But now, voter registration is going to be out by now. So tomorrow will be voting no more to NEC office. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. I hope because I need to. I'm twisting between. Okay. Let me get to Mo Ali. Mo Ali is the spokesperson of the Unity Party campaign team, and let's find out what is this agitation about. And I'm trying to get to Mo Ali this morning. Okay, Mo Ali. I'm trying to establish contact with Mo Ali. Okay, I think I got Mo here right on this side here. Mo Ali is the spokesperson of the Unity Party campaign team, and they've got some issues with the final voter roll. They think it should be published by now instead of the National Elections Commission. I was trying to research on the timetable there from the NEC. I mean, to find out what it is. And so Mo Ali is on the line, the official spokesperson of the Unity Party 2023 campaign team. Mo, good morning again. We appreciate you picking our call. I mean, in an impromptu way, as we call, but we understand that your party has got some issues with the National Elections Commission regarding the final voter roll.
Absolutely. The law is that final voter roll should be published and issued to the political parties 1 month before election. We are now, I think, 18 or so days or 19 days to elections, and we have not got the final voter rolls. And there are issues that are coming out. We've even learned that there are 2 precincts, polling precincts in Basso that are not captured on the voter roll. And so we've raised this issue with the Elections Commission. We've sent an official communication, which they are yet to respond to. That is a clear violation of the law.
Mo, when did you send this communication to the NEC?
The communication went 2 days ago because we've been having discussions with them, verbal discussion, to find out why the party has not received the final voter roll. It's not given or anything concrete. And so, judging from our experience in 2017, we decided to put them on the records.
Now, what fear have you got that 1 month prior, to elections, the final voter roll has not been submitted to political parties and other institutions involved with the elections?
So firstly, we need to understand that the political parties have got the right to know how many voters we have total in the country, and only the final voter roll can tell you that. We also need to know how many polling centers, how many precincts we have. Only the final voter roll can tell you that. It tells you, it gives you a breakdown of how many persons registered to each polling center. We need to know that for our own internal purposes. It helps the political parties to prepare. It also is part of the credibility of the electoral process and the transparency of the electoral process. If political parties do not have that final voter roll, you do not know how many persons registered to a particular polling center. You don't know how many persons registered to a precinct. It creates problem for the parties, and it begins to cast doubt on the credibility of the process.
Now, as important as this issue is, have you had any conversation with some of our international partners that are involved with the elections?
Well, in the communication we sent, we have sent CC to our international partners to put them on the alert that this is the beginning of a process that will question the credibility of the entire election. You see, election credibilities are not only questioned or do not only come into question on election day. It's a whole process leading to the election day. And when those processes are not managed properly, there where you have problems. So NEC, I don't understand. We did biometric registration. I don't see why it is so difficult to give us the final voter roster. And their own law, the National Election Commission law, says 1 month before elections. We're going past 10 days into 1 month and they yet cannot produce it. This is a serious problem. We need our statisticians and our technicians to begin to work on them.
Now, it seems to be a very worrisome thing for opposition parties and all those who are participating in these elections. We've just received information that your partisans will be gathering at the NEC tomorrow. Can you confirm that?
The Unity Party and her collaborators are planning that. We are going there to demand NEC to give us the final roster, since they have decided to violate their own laws. We've written them more than 2 days. They have not taken the courage to respond to us. They are ignoring us. And these are the things that happen when we question the credibility of that. People say we are not behaving fair. But when you do not live up to the law, the moment you begin to violate your own rules and regulations, then there is a question on the transparency and credibility of the process. So yes, our Secretary General and Chairman and members of the campaign team will lead an array of partisans to go to NEC, gather there to demand the final voter roster.
Okay, what's the next recourse if your demand is not met?
Of course, the court.
Okay, thank you so much, Mo. Always a pleasure speaking with you. Do have yourselves a great day.
Thank you, Fidel.
Okay, Mo Ali is the campaign spokesperson of the Unity Party. Let's take this brief break. When we come back, of course, we join our guest on the program this morning from the Center for Transparency Yes, that's the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, Central, Anderson Mem. Let's take this break and be right back on the program.
It's narrow. Teeth and tongue can fret, but they can still eat fish and cookies together. You from the other side, I from this side, we can still dance together. Let's come together, betting the peace. Liberia is all we have. Oh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Popole, la gloire mon Dieu mo. Aïe babo popole, la gloire mon Dieu mo. The time we take to cause trouble, we should take that time to do something constructive in unity. Mama Liberia need us. Mama Liberia need us. Let's stop it to my head. It can benefit us when we pray for each other. We will succeed when we come together as one. We will succeed when you get on your knees to pray. Oh, Liberia Day. When you get on your knees to pray, put Liberia first.
Miaman is our guest on the program this morning. Good morning, sir. No, you have to change that. You have to change that around. Change that. Okay. Yes, we have to switch it around quickly as possible. Get the headphone off.
No.
That
just
one.
that.
Okay. I think we do have him now on the program. Sorry about that. We're trying to make a little adjustment on the program. But Mr. Miame, good morning and welcome to ABC Radio. This is not your first time, by the way.
No, it's not my first time here. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the great setup and the great job you've been doing over time.
Okay, that's good. How is Central doing? I mean, advocacy, civil society, I mean, civil rights engagements and all of those things. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're trying our best to contribute in whatever way or ways possible to the growth and development of Liberia. We're happy to be in a civic space, partnering with different players, different stakeholders, including the media, who is very critical to our democracy, but then particularly to the work of civil society. We're happy that citizens are overwhelmingly supporting the things we do at Centaur. And we're also happy that we're enjoying a level of partnership from the government.
Okay.
The international community is supportive of the things that we're doing. We have so many of the partners supporting our work. For example, the Swedish government, they're our biggest donor at the moment. The Open Society Initiative for West Africa, OSIWA, is providing resources to us. In fact, they are the group funding this radio talk show that we're having at the moment. We have USAID, UNDP, and some other organizations supporting our work. So we're enjoying support at different levels, and we're hoping that as we move on, we can forge more mutually benefiting partnership so that we sustain the work we're doing to help meaningfully contribute to the fight against corruption and efforts to promote a culture of accountability, transparency, and integrity in Liberia.
Now, I'm a bit concerned about your collaboration with government because that has been the sticky issue. Civil society institutions' role in society sometimes is sometimes misconstrued as being opposition to government. How is your, collaboration with government like?
Collaboration comes in different forms.
Exactly.
As you know, civil society is basically complementing government's efforts to do certain things. In this case, to foster the fight against corruption. It is government that has the foremost mandate to do that. Government signs on to international frameworks and conventions. As you know, we have the UN Convention Against Corruption that countries are signed up to, including Liberia, committing to fighting against corruption, which is one of the biggest problems around the world and the biggest problem we have in Liberia. At the continental level in Africa, we have the AU Convention Against Corruption as well. And at the sub-regional level, ECOWAS, we have the Protocol on Corruption. Then locally, we have the act creating the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. We have the Pinnacle. We have the different other integrity institutions, such as the Governance Commission, the Internal Audit Agency, the General Auditing Commission, the Law Reform Commission. These are all institutions that are working some way, somehow in the governance and anti-corruption space or the integrity space. But of course, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission is that lead agency of government when it comes to dealing with corruption, working alongside the Ministry of Justice and all of that. So when I say enjoying a level of support and partnership, we're a partner to government. A lot of the time, people misconstrue the roles and functions of civil society. People take our criticality, to be
An
opposition to
stance.
government.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it is. What we're doing now, we did to the previous administration. In fact, Centaur, because we're set up in 2004, that was when the late Julie Bryant's administration, the interim government, was in place. We were advocating at a time. We were just trying to set up the frameworks to deal with corruption. At that time, for example, popularizing the National Anti-Corruption Strategy when we had the Governance Reform Commission, when Manasali was heading the institution before it later on became the Governance Commission. So we've been around doing a lot in what we're doing now. If Joshua is re-elected, we'll continue to do what we're doing. If another person comes in, we will continue to do what we're doing. So Centaur will continue to be around. Civil society will continue to be around. We're really happy when sometimes we get accused by people in opposition that we're supporting the ruling party, and then people in the ruling party accuse us of supporting the opposition. That's the beauty of the work we do, because we do not take sides. But I can say that for the most part, the issues we raised are at the doorsteps of the government, because the government is that institution or
That's
the body, the
responsible.
president that we've given or Liberians have given authority to, they've put their trust and confidence in to lead us basically. So while it's true that people in opposition are, potential government, their government waiting as we see, but our focus mainly, largely, mostly is on those that are in power at the moment because they are the ones steering the affairs of the country.
Exactly. Good. Now, you have a current project ongoing, which I believe is basically for the elections and going forward, the decision-making reference guide for Liberians and voters. How important? What brought about this idea of formulating a reference guide for Liberians and voters?
So we're in a democracy, and what that means, as we've been told, from the civics book, from our constitution and other materials, that democracy is government for the people, by the people, and of the people. So what that means is citizens are at the center of democracy. They play very important role or roles, but then to play those roles, they have to have what it takes to do those kinds of things that they have to do. And one of the main things that citizens have to do is to make decisions, doing elections after elections, in terms of, for example, prior to elections, engaging with those who are in power, those who want to come to power, so that the right kind of people come to public service. When we say public service, we're talking about government. If we have good people in leadership, if we have people who are clean, if we have people who are transparent, if we have people who are accessible, who are selfless, we're most likely going to improve upon the things that we're doing right now. As I would say often, Liberia is rich, but then that richness has not really been manifested, more tangibly and concretely in the lives of the people. So poverty abounds in Liberia. Poverty is the rate is very high. Illiteracy and all of that. So we shouldn't be at the level we are as a country because we have so much resources and international support and all of that. But then the ironical part is, again, the resources have not been deployed in ways that would benefit, for the most part, the vast majority of the population. So then when it comes to democracy and the fact that citizens elect leaders, we come into say, look, as a civil society organization, with our partners, working alongside our partners, what do we do? How can we contribute to this process? Then we say, look, awareness raising is important. Sensitization is extremely important because if bad leaders come to power, they will make bad policies. When they make bad policies, they get the lives of people either stagnated or they get them to retrogress, to go backwards. So we're saying, let's develop this guy so that it serves as a reference point, a reference document for people, for voters, for citizens, so that when people come to them, when those who vie for public offices, in this case, the people who want to be president, who want to be senators, who want to be representatives, we can look at them very carefully. A number of things we listed that, you can just maybe read the intro along the way as we move on, so that we discuss them to say, this is what you should look at as citizens. These are the things that you should watch out for. For example, when somebody comes to you and says, I want to be senator, I want to be representative, I want to be president, based on your civics knowledge, based on what you know from the constitution that a senator, representative, or president should do, when they're making certain promises to you, know then that this person is either saying the right thing or he or she is saying the wrong thing. Because a lot of the time people lie. They entice you. They say sweet things that are not within their purview, that the constitution does not ascribe to them in terms of their functions. So because they want to get your vote, they say, oh, I'll build roads. In the case of the representatives and senators, I'll build hospitals. They are not the implementers of government policy. They make the laws, they provide oversight and do representation. The implementation aspect of the governance or the government is with the executive. So then we come in to say, look, these are things that you should know of, so that when promises are being made, you can know whether this person is saying the right thing or saying the wrong things, or they're saying it only to get your votes, and a number of other things in there that we can talk about. So generally, in short, we're saying, make use of this guy, the points we have in here, so that They help you to make informed decisions or choices in getting leaders who have what it takes to lead, those who have clean record, those who have track record of accountability, those who have been selfless over time, those who have been there for the people, accessible, and not someone who is coming down at your level. This person has been in a big jeep. It's not a bad thing to earnestly work and get your money and buy a car and be in the no. That's not our contention. It's not a bad thing for you to build a house and put a big fence around it for security. That's not a bad thing. But have you been accessible? Have you come down to the level of the people? Or it is only around elections that you park the car and you are now in the community, you are in the attire shop, in the intellectual centers, playing Scrabble, playing checkers, playing Ludo and all of that. So if your accessibility is only around elections, it means most likely it's fake. It's not genuine. When you get power, you're going to go back to where you were in your big cars, moving around with tinted windshield that you can't even speak to the people in the community or in your district.
In essence, these are red flags that voters should look out for.
Basically.
Now, one of those things that you said is do not sell your votes.
That's important. A lot of the time we hear people say, I voted for people, they've not done me well, they've not served well, and so this time around, I will sell my vote. It better I get 5, 10, 15, or $20. We say no. That's not a solution. The solution is to do things differently. Probably that person was not well scrutinized. Of course, human behavior is not static. People change over time. But usually, as experts have indicated, it's difficult for good people to change to buy people. So if this person has been good, and that's why we're developing this guy, or we've developed this guy to say, look at the track record of people. How had this person been, like before? In the case of a teacher, this person has lived in multiple communities, or maybe in a single community throughout his or her life, or has been moving here and there. The renting culture in Liberia. You are here another time, you are here another time, you are here until you can build your own home. So go and check in those communities and see what kind of life that person was living. Check the school if this person is a teacher. Check the hospital, the clinics, if this person was a nurse. How was he or she responding or engaging with the clients? So these are all things that will give you indication. Even a journalist, if this person was a journalist, if this person was a civil society person or business person, how were they relating to their customers? So understand that, then you stand the chance of getting somebody to power who has what it takes to readily. On that point about selling votes, we say don't sell your votes. When you sell your vote, you are selling your future. When you sell your vote, you are selling your children's future. When you sell your vote, you are selling the future of Liberia. Guess what happens? When somebody is the biggest spender in an election, or he or she spends money to get your vote, buys your vote, maybe with bag of rice or half bag of rice that you can eat for only 2 weeks, let's even stretch it to say 1 month. Or they'll give you 10, 15, 20 US dollars that you cannot even pay the registration fee of one of your kids. When you take that $20 and vote for that person, you are basically selling your future. You are saying that I'm happy with my condition. I'm happy with the life that I'm living. And the danger is, this person calculates how much he or she has spent during the course of the election. As soon as they take power, the first thing they will do, either with their campaign team or sitting alone doing with the family, is to calculate how much they spend. Okay, I spent 10,000 US dollar on the different donations that I made. I built this clinic for XYZ amount. I built this school. I provided XYZ humanitarian support, to do all of the calculations. If the salary cannot cover up for those monies, they then start to look elsewhere to find resources to recoup. Remember, if you sell, you are saying basically that this person is doing business. Indirectly, that's what you're saying. And when somebody is doing business, you invest to recoup your money, to get your money and make profit. So this person is going to public service to make profit out of the investment they made by paying you over time. So we say, look, don't sell your vote. Don't turn politicians into business people, so that you will have what it takes to critique them. And hopefully we can get to a point where we can impeach our leaders, for what they cause in this country. We don't have that culture. Along the way, as we nurture our democracy grow, we can get to that point that we can remove our leaders based on costs. The sooner we get to that point, the better it will be for us, because Some of these people go there and practically focus on themselves and not the interests of the communities, the districts, and the counties or the country they represent. So that impeachment culture is something that we need to look into as we move on. But we're saying simply do not sell your votes. When you do that, you are selling your future, you are selling the future of your children, and you are selling the future of the country at large.
Okay, this is a beautiful and brilliant idea by Santana. You crafted this, try to put the interests of the country and citizen. How has it been received by the vast majority of Liberians?
We're even though we're not beginning, I wouldn't say beginning to popularize this document. We've been having multiple engagements before. Even when we appeared on this radio station, we're talking about how citizens can be a key part of the governance process, how they can support the fight against corruption. But of course, for this guy, in a more expanded way with this guy, we're engaging with citizens and conscientizing them to make the right decisions, especially as we move to the October elections. So the process has started. Just yesterday, we were on OKFM with Julius J. My colleague, our program manager, will be on another radio station later on today. We intend to have multiple media appearances. Hopefully, you can also call us so that we can talk about this beyond this conversation, paid for conversation we're having. And we also intend to reach out to other local radio stations because we want this message to go across. It is not only about those that are in the Monrovia area. I know your station may go beyond Monserrado or Monrovia, but we want to also have conversations with people in the counties about this guy. It's extremely important. We were in Bassa at some point talking about this guy, and the journalists there were saying, look, when you get back to town, we'll find a time that we can call you because we found this document very interesting. Just yesterday, when we had a conversation with Julius J, he's happily said that, look, I'm in agreement with the contents of this document. So I will, I will make sure that on my show, every time I come, I will pick a point, out of this to highlight, before going through the rest of my program. We're excited. We're also urging you, admonishing you to do that because there is a partnership between the media and civil society. Yes, we have resources, but sometimes those resources, cannot take us to where we want to go. So with that partnership, with that collaboration, with that mutual focus that we want a better Liberia, we can then share resources, and access so that we get the message or the messages across.
And I think this document is very good because it's simplified and anybody can read this document and understand. But we're talking about some of the red flags in relations to what people should do. First, we spoke about not selling their votes. The next thing is you said you should not vote for people who you will not have access to.
That's important. That was the point I was making about the person who's in this community, who's in this county. Yes, honestly earned the money and build a house, put a big fence around it, have a car maybe for him or serve, and then the kids and all of that. And every now and then they're in that car going to work and coming back. They never stop to speak to people whatsoever. When something happens in the community, a disaster, all of that, they stay away, they're not around. Even in the case of death, they don't identify with families, nothing. But then around elections, 2 years to election, because they have interest, the other part, the cars start going around to the attire centers, to the intellectual centers, to the youth centers, and start to engage. We're saying, carefully observe this person if he or she has been accessible. The reason is simple. For you to ably represent people, you have to understand their needs, their plights. And you can't stay in your fence, you can't stay in your car and know what the people are going through.
Exactly.
You have to go down there, engage with them. We're not saying here, be the biggest spender, dish out money to them. No, we earlier talked about how when you sell your votes, when people spend, at the end of the day, they'll be thinking about how they can get the money back. We're saying this person should be accessible. This person should be someone that you can call. Yes, I know their privacy and all of that, but once you intend to go to public service, you should be open to people calling you even 10, 11, 12, or even 1 o'clock in the night. So if this person has been someone who picks up calls, if this person has been there, accessible, when he or she gets to power, the possibility of changing would be very limited. But if that is not the case, as soon as people win, they change their numbers. That's when they're the busiest person around. Oh, yeah, sometimes genuinely they can be busy because of the different reasons, but at least you will return some of the calls during your spare time. But we don't get much of that, over the period. So accessibility, we're saying, look at this person, how has he or she been in the community before, and based on that, you can then tell if this person is giving power, whether or not he or she will continue to be accessible to you as they're doing during the election time.
One of the don't do's here is do not follow the crowd, which seems to be something that's very prevalent in our society today. You see this man in another political party t-shirt today, tomorrow you see them in another political party t-shirt, and this is a red flag that you've also highlighted.
That's important. And following the crowd means you are not making independent decisions. You're not making informed decisions. You're being brainwashed, basically. You are basically getting excited by the things you see around you, not understanding the intricacies, not understanding what is happening, not basically understanding why people are going in this direction. So you should ask, why is this thing happening? When people follow crowd, what that means is that person, either based on popularity or whatever the reasons are, they get elected not based on substance, not based on what they've done, what they're capable of doing. It's because 2 or 3 persons supported that person or went behind that person, you decided to do likewise. There's a danger in that. It could just be that this person is not the best person or the best fit person for the job. So we say scrutinize people yourself. Even if you see the crowd, investigate, find out why this thing is happening, so that you make your own informed decision. And the thing you were saying about wearing t-shirt, most times people say, "Oh, I'll wear the t-shirt and eat the money and all of that and vote for my candidate or another person." There is a danger in that. When honestly sitting here, of course, I'm not into politics and I don't intend to be active in the politics anytime soon. If honestly that has a lot of people, following. Young people or elderly people and all of that. Honestly, this has to wear a t-shirt of a particular political party, even though my intent is not really to vote for that person, but probably I'm doing that because of job, because I got in some cash and all of that, and I have my candidate. The danger is the people who know me, that I'm not telling, informing them that I'm doing this because of deception. They see me because they see me wearing the t-shirt and say, "Oh, but Anderson can wear this t-shirt, myself can do." So even though I will be going there for the 10, 15, $20 that I'm getting, and will eventually vote for the person of my choice, but I've made 10, 15, or even 20 other people to go behind this candidate, because I wouldn't go back to them to tell them, "Oh, what I'm doing here, I'm fooling you," and all of that. I'm just fooling this person. So that's the danger. Every time you do that, you get people, you unintentionally get people to support that person, and some of those people could be people who support your real candidate, but because you wear the t-shirt for whatever personal reasons, you get them to support the other side, and then you get victimized in the process. So we're saying, in fact, first of all, this is deception. Don't do that. Vote your conscience. Vote knowing that this person has what it takes to really deliver, because it's extremely important. When bad leaders come to power, you didn't read it, the intro part. We're saying the introduction of this document that, look, in a democracy, citizens matter. Citizens have power. Your vote is your power. Your vote can change your life. Your vote can change the status of your community, the country at large. Don't sell it. When bad leaders come to power, when they buy your votes, they use their time in office to recoup, to get what they spent. And the monies they will be using will be the monies that are meant to build roads, to improve the healthcare delivery system, the education system, to bring electricity, to bring water, and all of that. So don't do that. Don't wear t-shirts of people that you are not supporting because of wherever you're getting out of there. You stand the risk of getting more people to vote for that person, unintentionally, because of your action. Don't do that.
Okay, and then we hit the last point. Then I'll go back to the introduction to read it, which talks about involvement, non-involvement into violence.
Yeah, so there's a second part of that document that looks at what to do.
Yeah,
so that part, that part is important. So we're also saying that look at the track records of people. Has this person been named in multiple scandals before? While it's true that allegations are not, always facts, or allegations are not convictions. For example, sanctions. We're very clear, categorical in that statement that people should not vote for people who are sanctioned. And we have 4 of those people in these elections. We have Senator Prince Johnson in Nima County. We have Councilor Vani Sherman in Grand Cape More County. We have Nathaniel Maggie in Margibi, and we have Bill Twawe in Riverside. We're telling citizens not to vote for these people. There's a danger in doing that. First of all, your major partner, who is, America, has told you that, look, these people have been involved with significant public sector corruption that have undermined public interest, bribery, collusion, and all of that. We're sanctioning them, and we're urging the government to investigate and prosecute them. And we don't want people doing business with them. Then you go. The people you often go to for support, to crowd to for help and all of that. They tell you that, you ignore whatever they've said to you and say, look, we'll vote for this person. The danger in it is we're here and saw Brani Samuka being denied from taking his seat when he got convicted, right? These people have been sanctioned for corruption. Along the way, they will be investigated and prosecuted. When they get convicted, they will lose their seats. And you don't want to put the country into, money issues and all of that for us to go back to the Elections Commission and put in for by-elections, senatorial elections to, spend millions of dollars to go for another elections. Beyond that, based on what we're seeing as an institution, our values, our principles, we're saying it is not a good thing, especially so that these people have very poor track record, that beyond what, the sanction is saying, that they've been involved with bribery, they've been pushing their own interests, they've been getting investors to run away from this country based on their actions. We're saying you can look at all of these things with the multiple candidates, several other people in the race, and vote for these people. Yeah, so we're very clear about that. So that track record of accountability is very important. Check online. You can Google. Google has made things very easy now. Internet is all over. I mean, the penetration is not as we want. But
you can have
the point
access.
is, yes, you can. You can also, like I said, go to maybe the previous places where this person has worked and then check to find out, what they've been into and all of that. So that we bring to public service people who have very clean record. People who were journalists and they were not involved with, shady deals. People who were in civil society and they were not involved with shady dealings. People who were in government and were not, corrupt. Were not accused of, multiple issues. So you need to do that, because again, when the right people come to power, it makes it very easy. The policies will be there, the policies will be implemented, their interest will be how the society can benefit, how the district can benefit, how the community can benefit, and how the country can benefit at large.
Okay, Andasi Miamen is from the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. They've crafted a document coined Decision-Making Reference Guide for Liberians and Voters. Now, here's the introduction of the document, like he spoke about. Liberia is a highly illiterate society. Majority of its citizens are unemployed, poor, and vulnerable, including during elections. Politicians use the poverty-stricken conditions and vulnerability of most citizens to exploit them, as they make false promises and induce them with cash, rice, and other things to get their votes. Also, many people find it difficult to make informed decisions during elections due to limited training, education, and access to information that they can use to properly scrutinize candidates seeking public offices. On the other hand, most leaders who come to government often seek their own interest rather than the interest of those they claim to represent. Their lives improve most times from stolen monies, while the people they lead suffer or remain poor. Therefore, the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia has produced or developed this document to serve as a reference material for citizens as they exercise their constitutional rights to make informed choices during elections. It lists behaviors, qualities, characteristics, and attributes that good leaders have or are likely to have. Now, we've dealt with the part don't do, and let's go to the do's of what we expect from voters during these processes. The first one says you must vote wisely. How important is that part?
That's important. Before coming to that, could you please read the next
one? Okay,
the
which
next,
is the rationale of the reference guide.
Yeah.
When corrupt, greedy, bad, and careless representatives, senators, and presidents are elected, they prioritize their own interests and dash the hopes of the people. Also, they steal from the country, county, district, and community, and personalize scholarships, development, and other opportunities that ordinarily should be made available by government. This is why Centaur has developed this document to inform and educate the citizenry on what to look out for. If citizens make full use of the document, they have greater chances of making better decisions regarding transparent, selfless, people-centered leaders. Good. And that's the basis of this conversation, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're saying we're already admonishing you hereafter that doing the rest of your shows
You
up
can
to
rest
the
assured.
elections, you can maybe every day pick up point to talk about, because this is meant for everyone.
We'll develop spot messages. And
Yeah,
that's what we'll do.
we want Liberians to make better choices, and people have to be guarded. We've had bad leaders coming to power over time. All of the people that we've had have not been bad, by the way. We've had some good people, but a lot of the leaders we've had over time have been very bad. Decision making has been very poor. So we're saying during these elections can make or break. The decisions you make can get you stagnated to remain at your level, so you are not going ahead, you are not going back. And our aim is to make
us
progress,
go ahead.
incremental progress, and we could even do that progressively, or leapfrog, basically jump. So you don't want to remain at your current position. You want to make progress, you want to improve, but then the kind of choices you make, the kind of decisions we make, can get us to go back, remain stagnated,
or go forward,
or we can go forward. And we want to go forward. So if we want to go forward, it means we have to get the right kind of leaders, people who care about the people who are accessible, people who have clean records, people who have stood up for accountability, transparency, and integrity before, people who have been selfless. So these are the qualities that we're saying when people have, most likely they will be good leaders. On the point where you were making about the kind of people to
voting
vote
wisely.
for, voting wisely basically means considering all of the different things that we're talking about here. That don't vote because you want to follow the crowd. Don't vote for this person because they've given you money, they've given you cash, or they've promised you job. Look at the bigger picture. Look at the interests of the district, the community, the county, and the country at large. Let it not be about yourself. Let it not be about what I can get. When you take cash or something from a politician, that we should talk. Will the community benefit?
No.
If the answer is no, then
you shouldn't.
Don't do that. Look at the bigger picture. Look at how the country, the direction you want the country to go, and your choices, your decisions can help to push the country in that direction. That's what we're saying.
Okay. And you spoke about the personality of candidates who are wanting the electorate's votes. That is, whether they've lived a good life in terms of their moral conduct, whether they've not stolen before, whether they've not been involved with anything that places dent on their character as a person. I mean, there are people who change over time. The man stole yesterday and he decided to atone for his sin, and he's running for public office.
So, but then there's this other person in the race who didn't steal and is vying. So if you were to choose between the two, who you think would be preferable?
The latter.
The person who stole, got convicted, either paid back or went to jail, served a term and came out and is vying for public office and saying that I have changed. Which might be questionable, or it he or she hasn't been tested at that point. and this other person or this other group of people have not been convicted before, they've not been either accused of corruption before, or they were accused, prosecuted, and acquitted, and they're in the race. So why would you want to go for this person who was convicted,
Questionable
that has a
character.
questionable character, even though self-determined, all of that, and is coming to say, "Oh, I've changed," that he or she has not been tested for the other options, on the list. So we're seeing basically, look, the track record is important. If this person has been corrupt before, most likely when you vote for them, they
They'll
will
still be
continue.
corrupt.
They will continue what they've done. And if this person is clean, I mean, it's very hard for people to change from bad to good. Them say from good to bad. And so the options are there, multiple options. Look in there and see if this person that has a capability. This person has a track record. This person has been selfless. This person has been there for the people and has the voice and what it takes to really represent us, either in the Senate, at the level of the House of Representatives, or at the level of the presidency.
But this one seemed to be a very critical decision to make, as Fidia put it. Right, this is someone who apparently may have been involved with corruption, not been clear. But another person is in it. But if this person maybe have gone to court, prosecuted, found guilty, this person has changed. There's a difference between this man is a rogue and this man is no longer a rogue. This man has presented himself to be good.
A former rogue.
Yes, yeah,
Former rogue.
a former rogue, but has presented himself to be a changed person. And making a decision of such is a bit critical. I think you need to put serious attention in explaining that, to help the voters, because as per this document you crafted, is intended for the highly illiterate population of our country. Yeah, so this is very critical to understand, particularly if you talk about. But they say the men are road before, but the men against you again, the men are pastor and all. I want us to look at that as well.
Yeah, but we were emphasizing on track record. And with track record, we're saying going back, maybe from the time the person was even growing up.
Okay.
From the time the person was growing up.
So
Earlier, I said which communities this person has lived in. What did they do? How did they relate to their neighbors? We overlook these things, but they're very important. Is this person someone who lives in a community and disassociates him or herself from everything that the community people have been doing? Time for communal engagement, he or she is not there. And the only time you see them trying to mingle with the people is when they have political interest, maybe 2 or 3 years to elections. I mean, will that engagement be genuine? We say no. They are doing that because of the elections. If this person is good in the classroom, and we're not even saying this thing because some of the people who are in the race right now are classroom teachers. Could be classroom teachers. They could be pastors, journalists, and all of that. When this person was teaching, is he the kind of person who used to follow the young girls in the school to give, grade for sex? You have to consider that. At that level, what the person had was great. But then at the level of the presidency or the Senate, the Senate or House of Representatives, he or she has the budget.
Of course.
He or she has decision-making power when it comes to concessions and all of that. So instead of trading grade, this time around,
votes
at the level of the school, he will be trading, he vote for bribe and all of that. That's what we're saying. So the track record is important, even in the church. What kind of pastor has this person been? What kind of pastor has this person been? What kind of imam has this person been? What kind of leader, community leader of a youth-led organization? We have a lot of issues in the youth-led organizations, the smaller organizations. What kind of civil society leader has this person been? Has this person been head of an institution that has been in the business of eating the community people money or participants money when they go for workshops and all of that. You have to consider those things. So what we're saying here is not just about the guys at the top. It is about even you as a journalist, me sitting here as a civil society person. What kind of life am I living? Have I been leading by example? Have you been leading by example? If the younger journalists look up to you for guidance, have you been providing that leadership? Do they see you as someone that they can confide in to say, look, I want to be like Fidel, I want to be like Anderson or Anthony, knowing that you've lived very exemplary life in the media space. So it's not just about those who have been in government. We're saying those who work in the private sector, those who work with international organizations, those who've worked with civil society organizations, those who've ran their own businesses. What kind of managers have they been? Have there been people who insult their workers because they have, a small cash? They're paying people to treat their workers, like slaves and all of that. You have to consider these things. So we're saying this thing is a very broad document, holistic document. The track records of people is extremely important. How can you get that? You can go online to do Google check and see what is coming up on Anderson or Fidel. You can also go to Fidel's different communities to see where has this person lived. Okay, he was in Duporo at some point. He then moved to maybe Nikutown. He then moved to Claratown, and right now he's living in Cinco. Just go and do some background check and find out what kind of life Fidel used to live when he lived in these communities. You will find out the church he goes to, who, the kind of groups he's been associated with and all of that. Probably he ran a youth organization. He was a leader somewhere. What did he do when he was there? Is he someone who used to get maybe donations for that organization or youth-led organizations from politicians, and then will report only half of that money or 20% of the money, or he would get some monies and would not even report and put everything in his pocket, his or pocket? So it's extremely important for us to look at the track record. We say check on those that you want to vote for. Don't just vote for people because you see crowd, behind them. It's extremely important.
Very, very important. Good conversation indeed this morning. And another aspect that people do not look at so closely is the manifesto of politicians, what they intend to do, and how realistic are these things, which is also an eye opener for people to actually look at what has the person got to offer as leader, as your representative, as your senator, or as your president.
It's extremely important. And in this document, we place emphasis on the plans they have to deal with corruption. That's important. I mean, we can do all the different things we're doing like Bureau. If we do not address corruption, we'll continue to have problems. We will save millions of dollars. We have loopholes in the system. Yes, we may be collecting relatively enough increased resources from our taxes and all of that, but we could do far more when we address the loopholes in the system. Remember the sanction, from the Americans, that document that said public officials were using their influence to push their own interests, thereby getting investors to go away. So imagine if those investors that diverted their investments because of all of the bribes that people were seeking, all of that, if they come, additional resources would have come to the country, additional taxes, additional employment opportunities, and all of that. So, I mean, it's a whole lot to talk about here. That is important. The plans people have for dealing with different issues, the economy and all of that. But then, particularly, what kind of plans do they have to deal with corruption? Is this person has this person been there before? Has this person been genuine about the fight against corruption and all of that? You have to consider that, because leaders who come to public service must be clean. With that cleanness, it means that they can make and implement policies that will benefit the people. And of course, at the end of the day, the country will be the benefit, the society will benefit, the county will benefit, the district will benefit, and you yourself as an individual, you will benefit. Because if the school system is good and you get competitive education, you don't only have to work in Liberia. You can seek employment elsewhere, and with that increased capacity, you can get a job to go to Ghana, Nigeria, even in the US and other countries to work. That's the benefit, overall benefit that you get when you vote right and you get leaders who will really push the interests of the country and not their own interests.
Okay. So yeah, Fidel, before you go, Anderson, I want us to talk about the importance of accessibility, accessible leaders. I think that is the final point on or in this document. Let's talk about the importance of leaders who are accessible. How important it is.
I will put it this way. Let's even put it in the case of this radio station. You probably are the manager here, but then every time you come to work, there is a space. I know usually in the media institutions, you have space where the journalists say either to work, to have conversations, to compile the news and all of that. Are you a leader that the first thing when you come to work in the morning, you go there to speak to the people, or you wait for everybody to come to you in the morning and say, hello, sir, good morning, sir, good morning, sir? You have to watch that. Are you also someone who takes up time to go and sit with the people and have conversations or the issues that they're facing? Or you call them at some point individually to ask them what's happening to them, and you understand their problems individually, but then holistically you have a conversation to have a sense of what's happening. To put it in the case of those who are vying for public offices, I earlier talked about living a fence, not a bad thing to earn your money. Honestly, you build a big house, you put a fence and all of that. But you can leave that fence and go into the communities to engage with the people and find out what's happening to them. You can go to the schools nearby and check on them to see what kind of conditions they are in, whether they're chairs, they're this, they're that, because those will be the things that you include in your plan. If you're really serious about leadership, your manifesto or your plan will have those things captured. So you can't do that if you're sitting in your fence, you're sitting in your car, you're wasting dirty water on people, as you put it, the common way. And only around elections you appear to be accessible. You park your car and you are walking, you are drinking mineral water, you are eating cassava peas, and you're doing all those things that normally you do not do. I mean, we're not saying that if you are at a certain level, you can go to Boulevard Palace to eat and all of that. But if this person is really accessible, you will know they will always be there, not giving money. Don't get us wrong here. We're not talking about the person who spends the biggest. No, that's not what we're saying. To identify with people, you don't have to spend money necessarily. Yeah, in rare instances, you could chip in and all of that. But we're saying you are even using your expertise. If I'm a civil society person and I have capacity, I can help smaller organizations to strengthen their internal governance system and all of that. I can provide that expertise free of charge. At that point, I'm not giving you any money. You're a journalist, you can get some young people together and say, look, I see you, you're a promising journalist and all of that. Identify some of your friends and come over so that, mentor you and all of that is something. Either they reach out to you to do that or you reach out to them to do that. Accessibility is a key part of leadership. Simply, if someone is not accessible, they wouldn't know your problems. There are some people who are elected. The moment they get elected, they never go back to the people, or they go there occasionally. 2 or 3 years to elections, that's when you see them going back. I mean, that's fakery.
Okay, fakery. Yeah, I like that. All right, but before we go to the phone lines, the message you are spreading it across Liberia because you want this message to resonate with the entire voting population and every Liberian. Besides these radio shows, how are you getting into these how to reach places with this message?
Right now, we're active in 7 counties thanks to the Swedish government for the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program that we're running. But even with those engagements, we believe it will not be enough to get this message out to all of the members of the population. So we'll count on partnership with you in this light, to use your space to talk about, the issues we have in the document. But we intend to go to different communities, work through our contacts in the counties to spread this message. Speak with the community radio stations to have time like we're having now to talk to the people, because we want the message to actually go across. This is not about Sentai, it's not about Anderson Miami, it's not about any of us here. It is about the ordinary people, the Liberians generally. When the country is better, we stand a very high chance of benefiting. If the economy is booming, the media stands to benefit.
Exactly.
Imagine if you have 6 or 10 additional companies coming here. They will do promos. They will have different, media appearances to talk about what they're doing and all of that. The advertisement. You stand a higher chance of benefiting. So this thing is about all of us. Sometimes people don't look at the bigger picture. They say, okay, what can I get in here? If the economy is good, what do I stand to? You stand to benefit a whole lot. Some of you could even move on to becoming
Public
corporate
relation.
communication, persons, consultants, and all of that in these institutions. That's how the society benefits. So let's, make better choices. Let's think about the country, the interests of the country, the bigger picture, and not our own interest as we engage with this electoral process.
Okay, let's run to the phone lines. 0777 105 100 0555 105 100. The numbers to call. Speak with the head of CENTAB in Liberia. Of course, CENTAB means Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. They've released a document that I believe is an eye opener for a lot of Liberians, intended to guide you in the electoral process, the kind of leaders to vote, what you should watch out for. I mean, traits that resemble someone who's operating under fakery and somebody who does not have your interest or heart. All right, let's go to the phone lines. 0777 105 100 0555 105 100. And while we are waiting the calls, we very particular about how this message will get into the communities. For example, we will volunteer our services to look at the bullet points here, cut them into skit messages, and play them on different spots on the radio.
Wonderful.
It's a commitment we've made. We are making now to you. And I think this is a fun document. The betterment of Liberia lies in our hands, and we must all collaborate our efforts in ensuring that happens. But again, going into these how to reach places, are you explaining as in depth as you've done now to these communities? I mean, places that you wouldn't have the opportunity you yourself to go. How do you explain this document to these people?
Of course, the time we have here may not be the same time we have when engaging with other players.
Okay.
So it probably will be 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on the kind of engagement that will be taking place. But we can summarize the key points, especially at the community level. Some of the high level things we got there may not be things that we say to them, but it will be, a simple message that, look, I mean, this document here is to help you.
Okay.
Things have been done differently before. We want things changed, at the moment. We want you to look at certain things that you didn't consider before, because of which we've had the kind of problems we've had. So, look deep, think deeper, and look at people based on what they've been doing over time, not those who spend the greatest in the election, and those who basically have been there for the people, and you can access even after elections. That's important. So yes, I must admit that we may not be able to reach out to all of the people. We count on your support. We're extremely grateful to you for that commitment you've made. I just talked about similar commitment being made by Julius. It just shows that we are in this for the interest of Liberia. Basically, what you're doing connects with what we're doing, and basically our interest is to see Liberia become better. And to do that, there has to be collaboration, and the media is extremely important to what we do in civil society. And we believe that with this partnership, we can go to a higher height in supporting good governance, accountability, and transparency efforts in the country.
Okay, thank you so much. And time is fast spent. And how would you like to close?
Yeah, in closing, I would say thank you for this space, this opportunity. You're doing a great job here. Please continue to do the good work you're doing. If there are possibilities of improving upon what you're doing, you can do that, because there are always spaces for improvement. Even at Centaur, there are some things that we need to improve upon. We hope to do that as we move on. We believe that these elections are critical. Elections can make or break. Elections can get you to remain to where you are. Elections can get you to go backward, to take giant steps backward, and elections can make you to take giant steps forward, to go in front. So to put it the simple way, Liberian people are Liberian people. This thing we're talking here is for all of us. We want you to really look at the people who come into you to get your votes. You've been voting for people before. Some of the people you've been complaining about that, they're not doing the right thing, they're building houses for themselves, they're riding BB cars. Yes, it's not a bad thing to ride big car, but when you ride a big car, do the kind of work that you're supposed to do. But they're riding a big car, but then they're not doing the thing that they're supposed to do. So we say, our lives are poor. We ain't get money to pay our children's school fee. All of our children are in school. So for us to get leaders that will come to do the right things, that will be there for us and not only push their own interests, we have to look at them very, very carefully. Look at where they used to live before. Check, on the church that they used to be in. Check the different communities they used to be in. The places they used to work before, whether they used to steal people money or they used to, if the person was a teacher, whether the person used to sell grade to the students. Look at all of those things. If you find out that these things are things that this person was doing, it means when you vote for them, they will be bad leader, they will steal, they will corrupt your money. So let's vote for people who got clean record, people who have been doing the right thing so that this country can become better. Because when the country is better, it will be better for you. Don't sell your vote. Don't wear the t-shirts or parties that you do not support. When you do that, you will get other people to support that person when your real intention is not to support that person, and your candidate will lose because you need 10 or 15 other people to support another person instead of your candidates because you wore a t-shirt for $10, $5, $15, $20. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Okay, thank you so much. Anasi Miami is from the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. He's been our guest on the second segment of the show. Anthony, would you like to close?
Well, I'd like to say thanks to Anderson for such a wonderful document. Let's hope that our people can listen, follow this document for a better decision making during every election, not just 2023. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we have to go. Time has caught up with us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching us as well as listening to us via our online platform. It has been, again, another exciting presentation of the program. Remember, as always, let's keep Liberia peaceful. Let's do all we can to make sure that this land is peaceful as we move to these elections. Until tomorrow, my name is Fidel City. Anthony Jeffan has also been here. Do have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.